Hola a todos. Este es el episodio 40 del podcast Keep It Rolling. Soy Kyle Perkins. Estoy aquí con Joey Deal.
Hola.
Y Elias Frostro.
Fostro?
I think I did good.
What do you think?
That was the first time.
What would you rate that? Blue belt? White belt?
That sounded more like Italian.
So he's definitely a white belt,
White
no
belt,
stripes.
white belt Spanish.
Yeah,
Spanish.
Well, hello, everybody. This is episode 40 of the Keep It Rolling podcast. I'm here with Joey Deal and Elias Frostro.
Fortoso.
Fortoso.
If you want
Ooh,
it
I like that.
Say it the right way.
I don't even know. Fortoso.
Yeah, that was a cause of a lot of issues when I was a kid.
Yeah?
But yeah.
Okay. Fortoso. I like it. Very cool.
Which is why we call him 40.
40?
40's been your nickname like since you were a kid, or is
No, military.
military?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My buddy gave me that nickname.
And it's stuck.
Because like I said, it was a cause of a lot of issues at some point.
Because people would say it wrong.
The wrong way, and then you're proud about your last name, proud of proud Mexican and all that shit. I had other issues with that, but anyways, that caused a lot of fucking fights in the Marine Corps and stuff like that. And he's like, dude, I don't want to fuck up your name,
So we'll just call you 40.
We're trying to figure out a nickname, something simple, and he came up with 40, and yeah, it stuck.
I like it. It's a great name.
It's a good one. Yeah, it fits you.
Yeah.
Fits
40.
You. Very cool.
Yeah, so it's so fitting. This is our 40th episode. I remember, we asked you to do the podcast a while ago, and he's like, "Nope, won't do it. I'll wait till episode 40."
Yep.
So episode 40 with 40, and it's also Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Thanksgiving. It worked out perfect. You just got back from vacation. We were planning it out, so yeah, it worked out really good.
Good timing.
Yeah.
We just got done with our Thanksgiving open mat.
Yeah.
You got some good rolling in.
Yeah, I hadn't been here for a couple of weeks.
Right.
I got back and then I hurt my foot, and then
Tell us the story. What happened?
I fell. I fell
Scooter?
down. No, going up a mountain.
Yeah, he was going up a mountain. He fell in the mountains.
No, I went to a lot of different farms, and it's very freaking rocky up there, man.
Yeah.
And one thing led to another.
Cut his foot.
I had a hole in my foot.
Yeah, it's a wicked cut. It's
Yeah, it
pretty
was-
good. It's pretty deep.
Yeah, it was pretty
It
deep,
was.
man. So I fell the day before I took a plane back.
Oh,
and then
man, that sucks.
I went from the airport to the hospital because I just wanted to make sure it wasn't infected or
yeah.
anything. And they looked at it
Look,
and they're
it's
like,
healing good.
yeah. So they said it's one, it's been more than 24 hours, so they couldn't give me any stitches. And then two,
It's kind of a weird cut too.
Yeah, it's
not
like right on a
slight-
bone too.
yeah.
Kind of be a weird
and it was
spot to
very
stitch.
big.
Yeah.
So and then he said there's a lot of meat missing in between.
Yeah, you
so
can't really
we
stitch it
wouldn't
up.
even stitch it up.
No, yeah.
Well, people might be noticing right now. You said something interesting to me once. It was very interesting to me, so I thought I'd bring it up. If you look at your toes are painted black.
Yes.
Now you told me why
You had
do
a
you
video
do
of
that?
To remind me to cut my damn
To remind him to cut his. I always thought that was so interesting. It really changed my perspective on it.
Because the way it grows out?
Because then he
Yeah.
could see when he needs to cut them because they're white. I was like, man, that is actually. I might start painting my nails. That nice little reminder.
Yeah,
Okay, well, paint your nails, Kyle.
That's fair. Just black. It's just black.
Whatever excuse you want to
Yeah.
paint your nails.
I
let's do it.
started with just the black one, I think my niece painted it, and I was like, and then they all grew, and I was like, oh, and then I started coming to jiu-jitsu, and I was like, I don't want to be scratching people, and I roll with people
Yeah.
that you guys know, so I was like, oh, that kind of look, there's so much white. Okay, I need to cut it.
Which
more.
that's a good reminder for anyone who's trained jiu-jitsu. Make sure you cut your nails.
Cut your toenails, cut
Toenails,
your fingernails. Yeah.
It helped last night.
That
I was
way,
like,
people's faces and arms don't look like 40's foot.
Well, it becomes it does really become that scene in Fight Club where they're like, Fight Club becomes the reason you cut your hair and you cut your nails and
no,
stuff.
yeah,
It's like,
that's right. I remember
For Fight
that.
Club.
That's a
Yeah.
good movie.
Don't talk about it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't say
exactly.
anything. The first two rules of Fight Club.
What's his name is
Robert Paulson.
Robert Paulson.
His name
That's
is
the
Robert
writer.
Paulson.
Oh no, yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's the big dude who dies.
I thought it was Tyler Durden.
Tyler Durden is the alter ego.
Tyler's cool.
Yeah, Tyler's cool.
That was a badass movie.
Yeah, I have to rewatch. It's been a long time.
So how'd your rolls go today? They were good?
Yeah, good rolls. Yeah, I warm up with I forget his name. Fights, short guy.
Axel?
Curly hair.
Axel?
Axel, yeah.
Okay.
I fought a nice warm up with him. Really good warm up. And
Axel's smaller guy like us, but he's athletic.
Yeah, he
good
is.
wresler, moves a
Yeah.
lot.
He's thick too for being a shorter
little-
guy. He's
yeah.
pretty thick. Yeah, he's
He's
stocky.
strong.
Oh yeah, he's wrestling, and yeah, I was just trying to survive.
He's just coming back from an injury too. He had a tricep injury.
Oh, really?
He said he
Okay.
pulled his tricep really bad.
I thought he had just fought because I saw you repost
It's been a
something
while.
soon, like a couple of weeks ago. I think I saw you repost one of his things. Like, oh man,
Yeah, it's
he
an
just
older
fought.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. He was like, no, that's an old one. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I thought he just finished.
So how'd you feel?
Pretty good. Yeah,
It's
it was
tough,
good.
coming back after a break. So a couple weeks, right? You said like a month, maybe.
Nah, it's been like 3 weeks. I think.
3 weeks.
Yeah. The rust will build up.
Sometimes,
yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are, Kyle, about like mat rust, if that's a thing or not. But like, for myself, like I just don't know because I don't really ever take any the most amount of time, 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. I mean, I'll even say for me though, even that amount of time off, I always feel like I feel better when I come back. I mean, like maybe if
like excitement.
Yeah, and just like willingness to try stuff, and exciting to roll. So yeah, I don't
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's different, but I never feel it. I mean, I think like your timing gets a little off, right? Like if you're trying something, your timing might be off.
The times that I've had to take a break, when I came back, I kind of felt better. Because it's like you're like going in your head, like when you're taking a break, either you're going back and forth over stuff in your head, and then or I'm watching the videos and you guys are going over triangles or armbar and like man, you're going over this stuff. What do I remember? And I'm I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I go to sleep and I'm thinking about crap, man.
I'll tell you, last night that was. I mean, so me, Kyle, and Kenny, we actually went and saw Gladiator 2.
Yeah. Great movie.
But we went really late, 10 o'clock. So like by the time I got home, it was like almost 1 a.m.
Yep.
And I'm all jacked up from watching Gladiator. So I just lay in bed. There's no way I'm falling asleep. So I did like 3 or 4 classes in my head. Like just doing the class. Not like, wow, I'm going to talk, but the techniques that I'm going to do. So I did all my side triangles. Like in my head, I just ran through the classes that I want to do. So that's how I practice. I do it all the time.
Yep.
I think it's a good skill to have is like a visualization that feels like you're actually doing it.
Yeah, you gotta
I can do that. I don't think everyone has that skill. You have to actually have done it. I think it's hard. You can't imagine something you never did.
Yeah.
But like I can feel that like a side I can feel the finishing mechanics and I can imagine what I'm going to be talking about. So like I do that all the time. I'll close my eyes and just do a whole class.
Yeah, that's in one of I think it's actually in his cooking book. Tim Ferriss's cooking book is like a chapter about them having people try to practice shooting free throws, and they had a group of people practice, and then they had a group of people just visualize shooting them and didn't shoot them at all. And the people who visualized it actually did better, or they improved by like a higher percentage. Yeah. They would just do like hours of practice of just like thinking about making free throws, and
I'm like twitching.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about when you're like? So you were thinking about techniques. If you're taking time off.
So I don't know, man. Like this week, you guys are going over, and I'm like, man, I'm missing other classes on offense right now. Like then you guys are going like arm bars. And
so last 3 weeks. So if you missed 3 weeks, you've kind of missed the 3 submission weeks that we've done.
Yeah.
So you've missed some arm bar concepts, finishing concepts, kimuras, and now triangles was this week.
Yeah. So then I'm like, what am I missing? What am I remembering? And I don't have anything to look at, right? But I'm like, what do I remember about this? So he's probably going over this. He's probably going over this. And then this setup and this arm. And so that's the stuff that I
love that.
In my head, yeah. And it doesn't last long, I'm not gonna say that I sit there, but
3 hours later,
comes out of trance.
Everything.
Yeah.
I play a game on my phone and I try to go back to I can't sleep. Okay, what are they going over? Stuff
that's
like
cool.
that. Yeah. So yeah, it's just that, and then when I actually come back, I'm like, okay, well, what are they trying to do? A lot of people were trying to triangle.
Could you feel it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, freaking.
Yeah, that's what Kenny was all excited about.
He's really coming after your triangles.
Triangles. He's like, man, it's actually working.
That's cool.
Taylor was trying. I know he was going for my legs. He's a leg guy. Yeah. He is tough, man. He's a tough kid, man. And anyways, he was. I know he's gonna mess with my legs. He's been doing that.
Yeah, he's loving it.
Yeah,
I think he wants to be like Kyle.
Yeah. He wants to
attack
be
legs,
sneaky leg locker.
Yeah, man.
Taylor's the man.
So I'm like, get away from my legs. And I was defending my legs, and then eventually he's trying to go for triangles, but
nice.
I kept on going for the double under. I'm like,
okay,
you ain't getting this
nice.
arm in there, you know. And then it worked out for him. That was a good roll. There's always good rolls with Taylor.
Nice.
Yeah.
They had a good fun roll with Joey. Filmed it for you.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool.
We're gonna we'll do a video breakdown.
Yeah.
So it's something we're gonna get back into. Me and Kyle were talking about it. So
yeah, those are always
every
fun.
time we do, I'm gonna try to videotape us rolling with every guest again, so that way we can do that.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to break down.
That was. I was just trying to survive, and I know you're just setting stuff up. So I'm like, what the hell is he trying to set up? Like, what is he trying to do?
That's
to
the
me?
psychological
That's just
war.
pretty much-
Yeah,
exactly. Especially with the black belt, somebody, that because you know what I'm gonna do. I'm
I
pretty
mean,
you're like.
I don't know nothing. I
Yeah,
just go
we're
out
just
there
out
and
there.
see what
I know
happens.
black belts are like 3-4 steps ahead of whatever people.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking, what the hell am I gonna do here? I'm still thinking about frames, and you're like way out.
Well,
there.
I think that's what's cool with the game of jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
like not competitively, but the game where you're just kind of flowing and playing, is that I am playing a little bit of like head games of like I'll just kind of like do something that I don't even care. Like,
Yep.
I'll grab a wrist like somewhere and like make you think it's valuable, but there's
Yeah.
really no value to it. Where I think like a white belt or like someone who doesn't have that level of complexity, it means something. Everything means something.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Where like
survival.
everything
Yeah,
like like you're everything is like feels like it's important.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it
I
goes,
intentionally do things that aren't important to try to like shake up your and be like, oh, why is he doing that? Well,
Yeah.
it's the only real
nothing.
advantage you have.
That's when I'm like.
So the reality is, I'm not even doing anything.
It's the only real advantage you have is like a quote unquote like upper belt. Like they always say, the belt doesn't give you any extra like strength or anything. But the only thing it kind of does is like if you guys are like both white belts, if you like get like say you get like a triangle on someone, as a white belt, you will just squeeze another white belt's head until like and just be, I'm gonna tap this person. I know, but like if you caught like a blue or a purple belt, you would start to squeeze them, and very quickly your brain would go, they know something I don't. I can't choke them, right? And it's
Yeah,
like,
why isn't it working?
And maybe they don't. Maybe you got them, but like you kind of defeat yourself in your head a little bit because you're like, this person's better than me,
And wouldn't that be the argument of why? I think it's one of the arguments why people like no gi.
Yes.
Because you really don't know.
Just
Like,
do
if
it.
you were just rolling with someone, you wouldn't
Yeah.
know until you feel them. Then you can be like, oh, there's something about you. You must be good.
Yep.
You maybe are you, but you have no way of knowing. Whereas I think like when everyone's training the gi, and I think you could argue the other way around. Some people like that, knowing where everyone is, how much experience someone has. But I think that's definitely I've heard that argument from people of like they like no gi because they don't want to know. They
Yeah.
just want to go roll and see. Where the skill level is versus having those preconceived. You obviously know me and Kyle are black belts, so you go in with it,
Yeah.
that mindset.
But coming in like, you can tell when people like you can.
How do you
feel-
find out?
Like,
If I
you
didn't
can
have a
feel-
gi on and you didn't know me, how could you tell?
Well, like, or I rolled obviously in other open mats, and and here with people that like today I rolled with a guy from the barracks. It was a big dude. I don't know his name. Sorry.
There's a couple, yeah.
Yeah,
Couple
there are
big dudes.
I don't. I'm sorry if I don't know his name.
Louis was
So-
one of the smaller ones
Yeah,
today. Yeah.
I don't know why it's kind of funny,
Young-
right? They,
young
they just
kid.
produce big boys. The barracks is all big guys just come out of there.
It was a young kid, and I saw him there. I'm like, I just finished doing my warm up. I'm like, man, that's a big dude. I'm like, okay, well, the only thing I gotta do is make sure that he doesn't get on top of me, because then I'm fucked. So I'm like, all right, guys, walk your ass over there and see if he wants to warm up. So then I'm like, hey, do you want to warm up? He's like, yeah. So I like went with him, and like, I'm just trying to, keep his head down and stay inside, and then I took his back.
Nice.
He's a big dude,
Yeah.
man. And I was like, okay, well, that's when I knew, like, well, he's probably not a blue belt, at least. He's either a blue belt or a white belt. And that's
You
how
could just
yeah,
yeah.
just tell me he was just going for underhooks, and he wasn't being too rough either. So he was, he gave me a good roll where he wasn't really fucking trying to kill me. 'cause he's
So
big.
by that assessment, it's kind of easy to tell he's not brand new.
Yeah, he's not.
So I
brand
think
new.
it's like there's so much in
So many-
between, right? So you'd be like, you can just tell if someone's really good or if someone's brand new.
Yeah.
But in between there, I mean, it could be anything from a 4-stripe white belt in your mind to like a purple belt, high level. Like you just don't know.
Yeah.
So much because it's also like what is
And it is
where
very
from?
hard. Like at a certain point, like purple to black belt is kind of arbitrary by what school
yeah.
you went to, or like
competitive purple belts could be way better than
Yeah.
a lot of like what do you call them, like a recreational black belt,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you see blue belts tap
Yep.
black belts out all the time in competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I say for me, I guess it's just where the match is going to be anyway in the beginning. But like the guard situation always like identifies it pretty quickly for me.
Yeah.
Just the way someone tries to pass my guard, or like just the way they play their guard. I could
Play guard,
I could
yeah.
find a good level of where they're probably at, But I guess too, like you wouldn't find it any other way. Like we're either gonna be
Not from
wrestling.
your feet,
We're
yeah.
either gonna be wrestling or playing the guard scenario first. So then, like, if I end up in side control right away, they're not very
but
good.
It's how they play guard. So like,
Yeah.
you don't just
Yeah, but I'm saying
you
like,
don't just jump on the mat the first time and be able to move your hips the way that
Yep.
someone who's been doing it for 10 years has.
Yeah.
It's just the way like the body moves.
Yeah. So
You know what I'm saying?
And then after the roll, he's like, "Hey, thank you. I only been doing this for, I think he said 3 weeks or 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Or 3
Okay.
months. I don't remember which were 3 weeks. It was like, okay, so my assessment was correct. I was
Yeah.
able to take his back, but he's big. He was able to get underhooks, and once he got an underhook, I'm like, I gotta either bail out of here because I was trying to stay on top.
Nice.
And so a couple times I went just for his neck, just kind of like, cup his neck, his chin, so he can feel my hand. Kind of gave him a little bit of like, oh, maybe I should not, do this, and then I took his back again. But
Nice.
But he was just big, and then eventually he got on top of me. He's big. All he had to do, like one time he just got an underhook. He just did this. And I was
So,
like, all you had to do was get up.
For those who don't know, like 40s, you're about my size. What are you weighing? Like 140 now?
140, right?
140.
140 for 40 at 40.
I weighed myself today in the morning. It was 141. So after rolling, probably 140. Yeah.
Nice, yeah. So that I think is like we're considered small.
Yeah.
Anything under 55,
Yeah.
it's the lightweights.
Yeah.
And
I
then you
definitely
got
feel
that like
everybody's
55 to 80.
Yep. Middle.
Mids, and then you got anything like 190, 200. That's
Yep.
I think is big, and then you have the extras. The extra bigs are the 250 plus.
Yeah, like I said to Pete today. Pete was saying he's like 185. I'm like, that's big, dude. You're a
me,
big
it's
guy
big.
at 185.
You're not small.
Yeah, you're not a small dude at 185.
But then it's funny when like a 185 rolls with a 250
220.
for the first
Yeah.
time. They're like, "Oh my god, I'm so little. I'm so little." It's like you don't even know what little is. You don't know. You should be talking,
Yep.
Pete. Right? But yeah, I know it's funny. I mean, it's important. I think I love the variety. I love that we can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We can go scrap up with big guys.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I have so much fun with it.
Yeah, and I don't know. One of the reasons I do jiu-jitsu. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's just I like. Right now, I'm practicing just surviving. I'm doing the white belt stuff, just trying to get my guard.
Well, let's get the origin. How did you find jiu-jitsu? Was it through the military that you had the awareness of what jiu-jitsu was, or did you already know it?
Probably, yeah, because so I never took like fighting stuff as a kid or anything until I went to the Marine Corps. That's the very first
How old were you when you went in?
19.
Okay.
19. So then that was they had when I went in '98, they had a different program. It was called line training. I forgot what it stood for, but it was, and the only time you did it was in boot camp, and then around 2001, they started the martial arts program.
It's like McMac?
McMap.
Yeah, McMap.
Marine Corps Martial Arts Program, yeah. And I didn't know at that point. It was just, fuck, we got to do this shit, and then you go out there and everybody's hitting each other. Everybody's kicking each other.
Punch each
You're doing a bunch of stupid ass body hardening drills and shit,
Just hitting each other in the
slapping
ribs?
each other hands and fucking all this.
Really interesting.
Yeah, because body hardening drills and stuff. That made it just dumb, and I didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah, but I didn't know it was jiu-jitsu. I mean, yeah.
Was there any ground fighting?
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
they say ground?
Arm
Okay.
bars.
Yeah. Okay.
Arm bars, arm triangles, stuff like that. Yeah, for sure. There was ground kimuras and stuff like that. As you went up higher in the belt, it goes.
And did they use, just out of curiosity, did they use that terminology? Did they
Yes.
say kimura? Did they say, you know what I mean? Because that would be strictly jujitsu. Like,
I remember arm bars and arm triangles.
yeah,
That's
it's
pretty
more of a
much
general
what-
term,
yeah.
right? But,
Yeah.
but if you say kimura,
It's jiu-jitsu.
you know that they're coming from a Gracie jiu-jitsu background,
Yeah.
because the only people who use the term kimura for that double wrist lock, or a figure four shoulder lock, is some type of Gracie family. It's like they named it after.
Yeah. If you went and
You
asked
know,
Josh Barnett, he would tell you something completely
He'd
different.
say double wrist lock. Yeah, it's just interesting. I mean, everyone does that grip. It's just if you say kimura, then I'm thinking it's a Gracie jiu-jitsu program,
What I think that's where it came from.
right? I mean, I know that the army, right, the
did.
combatives,
Yeah, that's
was
where-
that. So I'm
yeah.
sure there's some blending.
I'm
of
sure,
that.
yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
it filtered through, right? Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know.
So that's the first time but I didn't really like it. You got a bunch of alpha dudes trying to do alpha shit on everybody, and I'm always the smallest one.
Yeah.
Everybody trying to fuck each other up.
They're already mad about your last name.
Yeah. By that time it was all good. By that time I was already a corporal, so I was in charge of people, and stuff. And then I'm a small dude. Everybody's bigger, And then everybody's like, "Oh, you got a small man complex." I just don't want people fucking
My
with
whole
me.
life.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I've been
I
told.
feel it. Yeah, for sure.
Napoleon's what I've been called my whole life.
I think I heard someone say it recently where they were just like, people are always like, you got a Napoleon complex, and it's kind of like, no, you got to pick it on small people complex. I'm gonna
everyone's making
stop
fun of
talking to
all
me
the
like that.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been used to it.
I wouldn't see. I think Napoleon complex is like outwardly, like you're small and you're making a point to like I'm not small, like being out there, like you just don't let people pick on you if they try to. Like you have a very short
it's like
tolerance.
if you pick on me,
yes,
and then,
if you
and then
try
I
at
fight
all,
back, and then you say I have a Napoleon complex, you're the asshole.
Yes, it's like Napoleon is like that's I don't know if you remember that
But there are
that
people-
famous video of that short guy in the bagel store who's freaking out, right? Like that guy went in there and was like, I'm short. They're like, all right, take a breath, bro. Like,
It does happen, right? Like you do see the short, angry prototype is there. Like a guy who, like, because of his shortcomings in life, pun intended, like because he's short, he's like he has to put himself into that. Like he's an asshole.
Yep.
Because it makes him feel like a big man.
Yep. Yep.
So there is they are there.
And I'm sure I did a couple of times where I fucking like, I had to, like whatever, and they're like, oh, that motherfucker, this and that. And then, but anyway, so yeah, I didn't like it, and then,
Did you become an educator too? Did you have to teach?
Yeah.
Did you have to teach
I
that?
had to. So after my first 4 years, then I went to a training unit, and then where we were training recruits and marksmanship and stuff like that. And I was a field instructor there, so I didn't really teach that much. I taught the field instructor, the field part, and like on known distance and stuff. And we also ran the crucible. This is one of the last things. Well, when I was there, it was in the middle. But it's one of the last things that the recruits do is a 3-day thing where they, I think it's like 50-something miles, and you walk the whole time. You only get 4 hours of sleep, and you go from one event to another. You just walk from one event to another, and every event is it's a different thing to test teamwork and stuff like that. And when you do it, they put a different recruit in charge, and then that recruit has to be in command or whatever and do that. And then you go to another one. So
it's training exercise.
Yeah, and they're all named after different guys that won, that did different things. So right before they do it, they read like the citation of somebody
from like a
Medal of
So
Honor.
there's like some memory to it.
Yeah, so they're like, the reason you're doing this is because this dude did this. That.
John Frank said, "War sucks." All right, let's get to the mud.
So because of that, and part of one of the events was boxing, hitting each other. So and the only people that can ref those were green belts. Yeah, green belts. And so then I went, back and went to do the freaking Marine Corps martial arts instructor training, which is only 2 weeks of getting your ass kicked. And then I went from, I think, a gray belt all the way to brown belt. Like, in 2 weeks. Wow, And
So it's like an intensive training.
yeah, it is.
That's so interesting. I mean, so like when you went and did it, did anybody just more for me, like, okay, so they all put you guys out there and they're like, all right, everyone like fight each other. But like all I'm thinking about now is like someone like Nolan who like if they put a bunch of people in a room and they're like, yeah, everyone fight each other. I mean, Nolan's gonna really mess some dudes up.
So they don't just do that. They don't just put people in the room and say, go fight.
Yeah, but
For those who are unfamiliar, we're talking about a student of ours since he was a young kid. He joined the Marines last year.
Yep.
And
he's had some fights.
Just the prospect that he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He's been doing it since he was a little kid. If you're like, hey, just go grapple this guy, like what a insane head start. That's like me.
Yes.
That's like someone saying, like, hey, go run a marathon with this runner who's been running all the time, and I just started.
Yep.
It's like, of course he's gonna fucking smoke me. It's not gonna be close.
Yeah.
But but it is a skill. That's why I believe in training. Some martial arts your whole life, you're going to be in a fight.
And I guess too, like if someone shows up and you guys go to do a shooting drill and some guy's ping in the middle every single time, it's not like you're like, well, this guy's got a weird, that's good for war, right?
Yeah,
you want the
some people have been shooting since they were kids.
Yep.
Exactly. But some people that have been shooting since they were kids have bad habits.
Oh, okay.
And
there
then
you go.
when you really
this particular, and same thing with jiu-jitsu. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the reality. If you're used to rolling on on the mats, and then you go and you're rolling. You know, you do something. You put your head on the fucking on a rock.
Oh yeah, and then we're the mindset there is one mind any weapon. I think it's called. So you're head stomping. You learn how to do heel kicks and all that stuff. And that's
I'm willing to bite.
Yeah, I'll put a thumb in an eye.
I'll bite a monkey. If a monkey attacks me, I'm ready.
Shout out Gladiator 2.
For those who watch the movie,
you'll get it. You'll get it.
Yeah.
I'll go watch it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it.
My wife wants to go watch it too.
Oh yeah, man. If a monkey attacks you, what would you do?
I'll use the one move that stops everything.
Let's hear it.
The chin chin pow move.
Oh, show me more.
You never heard
Do
it?
it to him.
You never heard chin chin pow move?
No.
It stops everything, man.
Okay.
I'm like,
I know who that dog. I put it together. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Ching, ching.
This goes back to my my Boy Scout troop. One of the guys he told us once, he goes I had a raccoon in my attic, and we are like, how'd you get it out? And he kept telling us, he goes, threw a piece of metal at it about this big, and we didn't get it forever. And he was like, oh, I shot it. And he was like, oh, okay,
Ching,
yeah,
pow.
yeah.
That's all loaded.
it stops everything.
Yeah.
Even a monkey.
You might want to do it twice.
I don't know, man. So the did you ever hear that story about the chimp that ate the lady's like friend's face? It was like on Oprah. So that chimp, they the lady calls the cops, and she's like, she's like literally the phone
It's
call.
her pet chimp.
It's her pet chimp.
For those who don't know the story,
so,
right?
So this lady had a pet chimp. Her friend came over, and the chimp knew how to drive. Used to drive around in the car, and the chimp wanted to go for a car ride, and the lady wouldn't let her. And so the chimp took the keys and was running around, and then the lady showed up and had a different haircut. So the lady's friend showed up and had a different haircut, and the monkey didn't know it was. So the chimp just attacked her and literally ate her face off.
Yeah, that's a true story.
So then the lady calls the cops, and she's like literally the phone call. She's going, bring the cops with a gun.
This ape's gone crazy. This ape's gone great.
So they show up. So that's the thing. So she's in her car. She's locked herself in her car, afraid of the chimp. But the chimp has the keys to the car, so she can't drive away. So the cops show up, and one of the cops said he was in his car, and he locked the doors, and the chimp started opening the car doors to come into the car. So he shot it 6 or 7 times, and the thing went inside into its cage and then died. So I mean, you
could still
you'd have to get it for.
That's the reality. That's why you empty it.
It's a tank, dude. Yeah, that's a crazy story.
You gotta do a failure to stop drill, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, once the head to the chest.
Oh, okay. Oh, see, yeah. I mean, he knows how to take him out.
Take a chimp down.
Yeah, that's a different thing, right?
You tell him to stop, he don't stop. That's a failure to stop drill.
Put him down.
Stop.
Man.
So how do we get to where you are today? You after the military.
So after the military, my kids did a couple of, I took, I think you should always know how to defend yourself, So I figure they need to know how to defend themselves,
Mm-hmm.
I got into fights when I was a kid all the fucking time, so and nobody ever taught me how to fight. And I think my mom thought that if she put me in classes or something,
it would make you want to fight more. Which is an interesting philosophy.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong. You know what I mean? I get it, but it's certainly the wrong approach to, to not give someone tools and think that would make them better at negating. It's like imagine I don't want you to burn yourself cooking, so don't learn how to cook.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
then you're probably gonna burn yourself when you eventually have to cook.
Yep, because you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would say that I had an anger problem, So I think her cautions were.
I get
valid.
why. Yeah. She didn't want you to then. I mean, it's basically now you have. And it's true, you do see this. It's like when you teach a bad kid how to be better at being bad. So, that's why martial arts cannot just be martial arts without the morals behind what martial arts are. And I think that's from a kid's...
The respect part.
It has to be.
Respect part,
And that's what I think good martial arts academies do, instead of just kind of like the clubs that...
just showing them moves.
And even wrestling. I gotta love wrestling, but wrestling doesn't have that martial arts side of it.
It's
you
dangerous
get a lot
tool.
of bullies. You get a lot of people, and a lot of great kids too. Don't get me wrong. Wrestling. I don't want to make it sound like wrestlers are all bad people, but it's like if you don't have a moral compass to learning the skill of violence.
Yep.
You could become a more violent, mean person.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of kids who got a story of a wrestler picking on them, and everyone's seen Breakfast Club.
But it's important. I think it's like that is you know, for the parents out there who do have that similar concern, because I've heard that before. I've heard it in different ways of saying it, but I just know it's the wrong approach to like, you know, it's like unarming someone because you're worried about how they're gonna use their arms instead of teaching them, you know, the methods and you know, the tactics and mentality behind, you know, why we don't do this and why we shouldn't have to use this.
That's why I tell my kids, I'm like, you know, either you're in boxing class or in jiu-jitsu or whatever. It's not so that you can go and be like
Beat someone up,
you know, pick fights with people, so that you know that if somebody's picking on you, you can laugh it off because you know you can do whatever you need to do. You know,
you get to prove it every day to yourself.
Yeah, you don't need to prove it to anybody. Like you just you can whatever. And if they got, you know, my one rule is 1 arm distance. If they get within 1 arm distance of you, and that's when they can do something, then do something, you know. But other than that, just, you know, you're cool, you know. Just keep them away, you know, and that's all right. And, you know, it has worked. The only one that's gotten into a fight is Caesar.
Caesar, what?
Yeah, Caesar got in a fight.
Caesar's our boy.
Yeah.
I call him Garfield.
Yeah, he got Garfield. He got into a fight recently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he's been going through some, like, you know, gotta prove myself.
Is he in middle school?
Yeah, he's in middle. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
he's in 6th grade, but it's the middle school where there's 6th, 7th.
6th grade. That's kind of the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was like where, you know, I had my first real fight. Like I had a couple little fights in
Little
like 4th
skirmishes.
grade,
Yeah.
like where I tackled people and stuff or whatever. But a real fight, like 6th grade, was probably like my
6th grade.
first real fight where someone tried to punch me on a school bus and I punched him back.
Yeah, baby.
And that was it. Like people, like, we fight, we doing this.
One punch is good.
6th grade is real. Like that's when
I think
you know, you
since
start getting in it.
There's 4th grade, I think I average at least 1 fight every year.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
you know?
especially in Mexico. I mean, I still remember my first fight, and that's when I knew I need to learn how to fight. You know, the guy tripped me. I don't know nothing about tripping. Somebody had taught him how to trip. You know, we started swinging, but then he tripped me.
Kicked your foot.
Yeah, he just the regular trip what he does, just him behind,
Okay.
tip you over, and I'm like an idiot. And then then he mounted me. And then, you know, he put his knees over my bicep.
Yeah.
And-
Classic bully.
Yeah,
trick.
exactly. So then,
Then he started spitting on you.
No, he actually.
Dandelions
I
in
don't,
the
I don't
face.
remember what he did after that. I don't remember what he did. I think he tried to punch me, or he did punch me, or something. And I think that was it. But yeah, I didn't like that feeling, you know. And after that, I was like, yeah, ain't nobody gonna fuck with me no more. And I was a little man. So ever since then, you know, I just didn't like people.
So you grew up in Mexico, huh?
Until I was 10 years old.
10, and then
Yeah.
you moved. Were you right to Chicago? I think
No.
I've asked you this before. I don't remember.
No, so I came to California, Cali first, from 90 to 94.
So you had school in that time. You
Yeah.
went to like high school.
I went to elementary school and middle school.
Oh.
I was in 8th grade. 8th grade when I came over here.
Chicago.
The last
Nice.
semester of 8th grade I did here in Elgin.
Nice.
And then my 4 years of high school were here.
That's awesome. Just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So you really were remotivated after the military through your kids then to
Yeah.
because you weren't training, right?
No.
You didn't jump into training or anything.
Well, the first time that they were training, they were like in the school, and I was just, you know, teaching them a couple of things, and I liked it because they helped them a lot with their balancing and stuff like that. They did a lot of games.
Make
like
him a
that.
little athletic, yeah.
Yeah, and that was good. And then there was a guy that showed up, and he used to teach combatives for the, you know, he like started renting the place up, and he started getting a class ready, and I was like, and you know, I was like, all right, I'll get into it, you know, and I started doing that, and then I was liking it. There wasn't a lot of ground stuff, and we're mostly striking, and then one time he came over and was like, I got some fights. Anybody want to fight? And my kids were there, like, Dad, you should fight.
Hey, you know he fought MMA, right?
I didn't know that.
You
no.
didn't know this?
No.
Yeah,
Oh, you
so-
gotta tell him the whole story about
Oh, this
that.
is great.
So then I did that. It wasn't an MMA. It was like,
I mean, it was MMA fight. I watched the video.
well, yeah, but it wasn't no face hitting.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was grappling, and
Okay.
it wasn't boxing.
Okay.
No, it was a mixed martial arts fight with special fucking rules or whatever. Because
Basically, the pancration style.
Entry, yeah.
Yeah, we call it like it's not an amateur, it's novice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Novice MMA.
Yeah. So then I did that, and then I lost in the second round. I got really tired on the first round.
You gassed out.
Yeah.
Okay.
You showed me the video.
Yeah.
We were watching.
If I would have known what I know now, that guy would have been toasting.
We had him in the first round.
Yeah,
He just gassed out.
I thought was a triangle, and I was like fucking squeezing the shit out of it with my legs.
Okay.
and then I lost it, and by the end it was on top of me, and my legs were done. They were noodles. I went to my corner. I was like, his nickname was Chief, and I'm like, Chief, my legs are done. No, you're fine. No, my legs are done. And then
You wobbled out in the second round.
Oh, I was just trying to fake it, you know. And then the second round, you know, he took me down and got on top of me, and I was just like, I still remember, you know, he's hitting me on the side. I'm like, fuck, and I'm, you know, he's on top of me. He's you know, he's got my back, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to get up one time, you know, and then see what happens. And in my mind, I'm doing a push up, you know, I'm getting up. In the video, all you see is my head right.
Right to the choke.
Yeah, right to the choke.
Okay.
You know? In my mind, I'm like, oh, you know, and it's just my head.
Man, such a valuable experience, I think. I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
cool
Oh, yeah,
that
for
you got
sure.
to do that.
But right after that, I got really sick, man. Like, what happened, you know, I was down on myself, whatever, and then he wasn't a very good coach, to be honest. He didn't come in.
What'd you do, man?
Tell me,
No,
Chief wasn't there.
he didn't even come and say, you know, no, you know, like, come and say shit. Whatever.
He left you
I'm out of here.
See, you know, anything. And I was like, fuck.
without any experience. Signed you up for a fight.
I mean, that was fun, man.
Yeah, no,
Whatever,
it's all
you know.
fun, but
What happened is I think I got undressed. I took the, you know, everything off, and we watched a couple more fights, you know, pictures or whatever. But I don't remember washing my damn hands. And then on the way back, I was.
Did you borrow gloves?
It was the
someone
same
else?
gloves that I was using at the
Oh,
fucking
okay.
gym, and
So they were
everybody
dirty.
used, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the way back, I brought food. I think it was taco. I don't remember what the fuck I bought. And as soon as I got home, I ate it. And the next 2 days, man, I was like food poisoning or something.
Yeah.
I was throwing
You never been
up.
that sick, huh?
Yeah, never. I even went to the doctor to get looked at. Yeah, I was fucking really like, it was nauseous. And
Well,
everything.
probably a bad combo. I bet you your system was really broken down from
Fatigued out.
fighting,
True
and then
that,
and then
too.
you
And then you
get in
got
the
a
cage
little
with
bug.
someone else's floor all over you, and
it was just.
It happens a lot more than you think. Like, I mean, MMA in general, but like, even just competition and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, people immune system
Yeah.
just crashes.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that happened.
The ears get infected,
Yeah.
blow up. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
Kyle.
You got infected?
Oh yeah, look.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
It's enormous. Yeah.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Kyle's got a little
Like a
and
cyst
this is
in my
nothing
earlobe.
new.
Yeah.
This is something
I
he's
didn't
had
know.
a couple times. We've
Reoccurring
talked about
issue.
it before, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We've had this thing explode in a match once. We've been trying to take care of it, but
drain it?
we're
Yeah.
not doctors here.
Yeah, we're just
Yeah, I'll just put a needle
monkeys
in
with
it.
needles, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Just don't shoot me.
So I got really sick, and after that, I was like, you know, I have a job. I gotta
Yeah.
go back to work. I can't just take days off after shit. And then I was like, man, if I'm really gonna do this, I gotta take it serious. I gotta really train, not just fucking standing. I gotta lift. I gotta
So you asked a lot of questions to yourself.
Yeah,
Like,
and I was
do I want to do this or not?
And I was like, no, I don't want to do this no more,
Yeah.
you know. And then, like I said, dude didn't reach back or reach out or say anything, you know. So I was like, you know,
you didn't feel support.
yeah.
for it.
So I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna do that no more. I think I went back to the classes, but I just didn't, you know. And then it kind of fell off with that, you know, and that was it.
And your kids were still pretty young. Cause
I only had two by then, and I think Caesar was just born. So
Okay.
this is like 11 years ago,
Right.
because he's about to be 12. So 12 years ago.
So did that moment of getting strangled in a competition? Did you have that moment of being like, maybe I should just try to explore the grappling elements? Did that get you into like a motivation of like,
It definitely-
instead of just like doing MMA?
Because I always watch UFC, right?
Right.
And it definitely gave me a different like, man, this is really tiring. And the
What
legs really
tired
get
you out?
tired. Yeah,
it was the grab. It wasn't punching. It wasn't.
Yeah,
You know.
all that stuff.
You
so-
went for you got tired grappling, and then grappling killed you.
Yeah.
You used your legs, you had no more legs.
Yeah. And then as the UFC progressed through the years, you can like wrestling, and wrestlers are really good, and hearing the training and all that stuff, and hearing the interviews and people talking about it and stuff. So it's like, all right, whatever. And then like 4 years ago, Cesar was like, I want to learn boxing. I'm like, all right, and I started searching. And a friend is like, oh, there's a place right there in Elgin they teach boxing. So I took him there. The coach was ass. And Cesar didn't like it, but there was a mat there.
There was a kids boxing class.
Yeah, it's a boxing class.
Yeah, kids boxing.
Yeah.
That's rough. That's hard.
Tough.
Yeah.
The guy just wasn't really good at coaching kids.
For the kids, yeah.
I mean, and
It's a tough skill.
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, whatever. Some people like that. But I don't know. Then there was some mats there, and I was like, I asked him like, hey, what's happened there? It's like, oh, there's a guy that teaches jiu-jitsu here. And what days, And
You know who it is? Do you know who it is?
No.
You don't know?
No.
I know.
Was I think I know. Okay, yeah.
It was Donnie.
Yeah, it was Donnie.
Donnie.
Okay, I was good. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, okay.
This was at the only reason why I know this place so well is because Fleece is boxing coach.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Which
where-
wasn't the same guy, okay?
Right.
It was a different guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shannon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Oh yeah, I
nice
remember
guy.
you telling me about Shannon. Yeah, he was awesome.
Because
Yeah.
I would, me and Fleece were really, really close, and I would go there and watch her practice, and we're getting her ready for her like last couple fights.
Yep.
And, but then same thing. I saw the mat, and I could see like a Puerto Rican flag.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, it's got to be Donnie.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah,
The One Spirit, I think I don't know if it was called that at the time. Or
no,
if he was,
he hadn't had a name there.
Yeah, I don't think he named it yet.
No.
But he was just doing like a little,
Donnie
little
Blades
side.
Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah.
So I asked Cesar if
I think
he
you were
wanted
already
to try
training
that.
there.
No, I wasn't
This
training
is-
then.
No, you don't
No.
think so? I mean, it was like probably, I want to say like 2002, 2022.
I don't remember.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch any of their classes or anything, so
Okay.
but I assume you were probably already training there
No.
while I was like stopping in.
No, not yet. This was at least 3 years, 4 years ago. So.
Yeah, about then. That's
Yeah.
when I was hanging out there.
Okay, but I never saw you. I saw.
I
seen
only
Felice
went there
a
for the
couple of
privates.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's it called? The mat was there. I asked Cesar if he wanted to try jiu-jitsu, and he's like, okay. And then I took him. He started doing the kids classes, and I was like, man, I want to try this shit.
So cool.
Nice.
I started trying that. Then I started helping him with the kids classes a little bit. Kind of trying to bond with Cesar.
That's great.
Nice.
And then trying to put my middle child Diego into it too. Trying to bond with him. Trying to do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of fell off right there. And then I started looking for a different place, and I started researching. I talked to Jeff. Jeff's always, I never met him for a long time. I just reached out to him and just asked him a bunch of questions. He would just answer them, and I never met him until his
Through like Instagram.
Instagram and
Yeah,
stuff
Jeff
like that.
Kern,
That's really cool.
our coach, who
Yep.
we got our black belts from.
Yep.
That's awesome. So you'd reach out to him, talk about training, right?
Training,
Yeah.
or like would you recommend it or something?
That's really cool.
And then he talked about here, and then I was like, okay, and then just trying to figure out which way to go, and I came over here, took the trial classes.
Nice.
And
I remember when you first came in. I think it was probably like a Monday night class or something like that, like a no-gi class first, and then you did a few gi classes too. You were in the gi a little bit more in the beginning.
yeah, I love gi.
You love the gi, right?
Yeah, I like gi, man.
Yeah, I think
I like slow stuff down, man. I'm an old dude, man. Everybody's fast and stuff, in the no gi stuff.
Yeah. What kind of sold you on the place? Because it seems like you've had a lot of experience of different instructors and stuff before you came here, and so not that you were like a good critic, right, of a place. So what made you kind of?
Well, having been an instructor too, knowing like how to instruct the class and stuff like that, I really like the structure.
Nice.
Like the teaching, the way the class goes, just how it flows, and then after doing a week or two, like how everything connects. The competition classes, so you can put it into effect and
Into
stuff
practice.
like that. Yeah, into practice. Yeah, for sure. That definitely sold me. For sure.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
It's always good to
that's what
hear.
did it.
I love hearing the fact that people.
I told you. I think I
work.
told
Yeah.
you, man. Like
We put a lot of work into it. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had to evolve a lot of how I did things when I first started compared to now.
Oh, it's changed so much.
I mean, the way that we were brought up versus how we're doing it now, it's just I just feel like jiu-jitsu deserves it. You know, it deserves to be
Well,
treated
if you didn't,
like
it
it's
wouldn't show you growing,
professional.
right?
You know,
Like if you didn't change it, like if stuff's not working.
if we're doing it the same way after 20 years, it's, you know.
Well, I mean, it's really just a true evolution of, you know, people who came from, you know, Brazil and didn't speak English very well and were just like, you know, hand here, you know, do it like that. To now people who are like college educated, you know, like
Well, we're not.
well, but like you're definitely you've put that amount of time into the topic, you know. So like I mean, that, you know,
Let's not act like we're college educated.
So Harper College, one semester. Let me tell you. No, I don't think I showed up. I might have signed up.
NIU, me too. Yeah. No, but I do believe in it. It's like you know, the idea of like if it's not broke, don't fix it is kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, like we would
sure
the Model T worked.
It wasn't broke.
Yeah,
you know, like people can learn jiu-jitsu without any organization. It's just I think it can be done better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I learned a lot where I went. Like Donnie taught me a lot of stuff.
And you can learn a lot, and you could become highly efficient. It's just for who does that work for? It's like tailored towards a certain person, and there's only, you know, it's like a 1% of the world can actually accomplish what the majority of people could accomplish if we did it, you know, safer and smarter with a little bit more organization, which requires more work from the school, you know, and I think that's where it usually falls apart.
Yeah, that's where it should be. I mean, the students already have their quote unquote like responsibility. You know, their rescibility is to train. Our
Pay
responsibility is
tuition
to give them the curriculum.
Yeah.
To think they need to go seek the curriculum too is like, well, then what are they? I don't know what they're paying for.
They're
Them,
paying just for the building.
Yeah,
yeah. I think.
I mean, it's a nice building.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys look around here. It's a nice building.
You pay for the building, and you pay for basically an orated or like a curated curriculum. That's the idea. So hopefully it works.
No, it worked. It worked for me. Shit.
You're doing great, man. I mean, it's crazy. You remember the first time I rolled with you.
Yeah.
You know, compared to now, you feel a lot better.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, I'll give you that compliment.
You guys.
Yeah, I really remember like maybe 2-3 months ago, like rolling with you, and right afterwards saying to Joey, like, we gotta think about giving 40 his blue belt. Like, he feels belt. Really good. Yeah, you know. Yeah, so.
Oh yeah, you know, you guys teach really good stuff, you know, and it stuff sticks, and I like the part like sometimes you don't explain a lot of stuff, you know, you're just like kind of
more conceptual. I like the idea of that. It's changed a lot. Again, that's another evolution, is just understanding that it's better to let you be you and figure out how to do jiu-jitsu for yourself. You know, what the curriculum is a set of principles and concepts that, you know, are universal, that aren't really going to change. You know, how we teach it is going to change. So, you know, flavors and techniques change with the seasons of, you know, every year there's going to be something new that's kind of, we're trying to stay ahead of the curve and show new stuff, but the principles are still there. And I feel like you've started to really adopt that. And I can hear it even just by us asking how the rounds were today. Like you're kind of looking at it through a principle-based, you know, approach.
You break it down to like just something as simple as like, now I know like everything starts with a hand fighting. Like hand fighting is everything. Or if we start kneeling or whatever, I'm, you know, make sure you don't get inside position. Try to get inside position.
Yeah, and those are the conceptual frameworks.
Like the concept stuff. You
and
know,
these are all things you probably were doing before, but you just weren't.
If you were having success, you were.
Yeah,
but
you just weren't thinking about it. You know, like if you did a good guard pass, you probably hand fought and got inside position first. You just didn't know you did it, and now you know intentionally before you do it.
Well, I know, like you call it, you build a story. It's like a map. You know, like you got to get through here to get there, or you know. And sometimes you do skip. You know, whatever, especially if you're like higher belt or whatever, you can go, you know, different places. But I don't know, it makes sense to me.
That's great.
It breaks it down, and like, you know, I'm happy, and that's where I'm here.
Yeah, you're doing great, man.
And you know, everybody here is awesome. You know, like everybody that trains here is awesome. You know, like I hadn't been here for 3 weeks, and everybody's like, "Hey, what's up? What's up?"
Oh yeah, we all miss you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it was pretty
that's
cool.
a big part of it too. I mean, if nothing else too, like. There's some schools, you know, if you could be the best school in the world in terms of how they do jiu-jitsu, but if it's no fun to be around and no one, you know, you don't really enjoy the community of it, what's the purpose?
Well, I've heard, you know, not to bash anybody, because I really love their gym, but I've heard, remember Jake Morvac?
Yeah.
He was training art of jiu-jitsu for a while.
Jake was a friend of ours who trained locally, and then he moved to California.
Yep, and he said that art of jiu-jitsu just really, like, people come in there, you know, they take their work clothes off, put their jiu-jitsu clothes on, do jiu-jitsu, put their normal clothes on and leave. They don't talk to each other, they don't hang out. People come there and it's like,
which is it's fine. It's one way of running a service.
Yep.
But yeah, it does kind of leave a hole in like the, I don't know, like what's the purpose of it? Like if you're just trying to be a world champion,
yep,
maybe that is the best approach. But if you're trying to enjoy your life and like, what you're trying to do with jiu-jitsu, I would rather have a community-based, education.
Well, here's like two. I've heard people say before, like about like a coach, like you're paying me to be your coach, not your friend. But it's like, yeah, you should still be friendly. Mm-hmm. We last night we went and got we went and saw the movies, and like Kenny just wanted like an extra tray so he could split up the nachos they gave him between his two kids, and the kid behind the counter is like, cannot against policy.
I gave him my sass too. I did my short man. I had my Napoleon complex pop out.
Yeah,
I'm like, are you serious? I was like, you really, we're just gonna put some popcorn in it.
He's like, nah, no way.
I'm like, we're not gonna tell anyone if you do it. Like, I won't tell on you.
Yep.
It's funny. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I think it's fun to
just be nice. Just be a nice person.
Yeah, it's really not that complicated to make a good community. And everyone, you might find like you fit in better at certain places than others, and that's fine too. I think it's just the way it goes. But I think we've done a pretty good job of that, of feeling pretty inclusive. I really, really, we welcome everyone. I mean,
you would almost have to like actively not want to fit in,
Yeah,
and I'm trying.
I agree with that.
Kyle's been trying since the beginning.
Yeah. No, yeah. So it was. So that's
well, we appreciate that you've enjoyed it so much, and I'm glad that you're still in the game.
Yeah.
Because tell me, let's get a little bit more into like your background too. I know you were saying about some health things when it came to the getting sick after the fight, but you've had other health concerns.
Yeah.
I mean, do you mind if we ask? How old are you? Are you 40?
I'm 45 now.
45.
He's 40.
45.
I think we just got to change your name then
to 45. Yeah.
And then next year be 46, 47.
Right? No, I'm 45 now.
And then when you get 50, we start back at 40.
40-11, 40-12, 40-13.
When I was 37, that's when I had a heart attack.
Which is young.
It's
for
crazy
those
young.
Who don't know, it's pretty young for a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty lucky. I had probably heart attacks for maybe 6-8 months before that.
You were having heart attacks?
Yeah, I just didn't know they were heart attacks. I thought it was my stomach. The pain was like up here in this area, and I thought it was like I had acid reflux stuff and all this other issues with my stomach. So I was like, man, it's got to be my stomach. I wake up at night and have this really bad pain, and
would you get weak, or would it just hurt?
I would get, so I remember a couple of times someone was passing out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my dad had a heart attack, I think 5 or 6 years ago, something like that. Yeah, too. And
But it was a really sharp pain, and then it would go away, and stuff. So then I started going to the VA for it, and then they saw that I had gallstones, and they started getting some treatment for that. But we didn't know it was heart attacks. Mm-hmm. And then the weekend of my birthday, a little bit before that, but the weekend of my birthday, instead of just happening at night, it started happening during the day. And I was...
Sounds like a buildup.
Yeah.
You could feel something's happening.
I was cutting the grass, and I fucking got this pain. I was like, man, I can't finish cutting the grass. I went back inside. And then we were supposed to go out. It was a
Weren't you
Sunday.
telling me, too, that you were telling your wife, this is not to throw her under the bus. She was like, you're fine.
Oh, man. She's gonna, sorry, wife.
Sorry.
I have to tell the
Under the bus,
truth.
but I thought it was funny.
It's my story.
You telling me that. I was
No,
like,
so this was the weekend of my birthday, right? And like I said,
We're going out.
She's like, toughen it out. Yeah.
we were supposed
We're
to
going
go
on
out.
a date.
And she was...
If you cancel that date.
I did cancel it. This is how I canceled it too. I can see why she got mad, and she, I get it.
She thought you were faking to get out of it.
It's because if you ask every wife, like when guys get sick, they're always crying and all this shit.
Yeah,
they always say that. So anyway, I'm fucking they're dying. Anyways, I'm
actually dying.
We didn't know, right? And we were supposed to go out to Chili's, and she's like getting ready already, and I'm like. I got ready and I'm coming down the stairs and I got the pain like when I was upstairs, and I was like, dude, I can't go. I'm not gonna make it. Something's gonna happen. I can't. She's like, you can see in her face. She's like, fuck you.
Disappointment.
Yeah. She's like, she didn't have a plans for dinner or anything. I think she was really looking forward to a margarita. So So yeah, she.
So you're telling me you
That was
gave
a
yourself
Sunday.
a heart attack just to get out of this day? You're like, come on, I don't want to
I'm not doing chips and salsa again. Fuck it.
That was that Sunday.
Oh, that's
And
funny.
then Monday I went to work and I.
Oh my gosh! So you still didn't even go to the hospital? You just
No.
You're like, I'll just
I
sleep
was
it
still,
off
you know,
or something.
like I'll call the VA, you know, if it happens.
Man.
Whatever. So then I went to work Monday. I had a heart attack. Well, now that I know heart attack, I had that pain in the morning when I was at work, and I had it during lunch, and then on my way home, I had it while I was driving, and
it's feeling different as it.
it's feeling a lot
Progressively worse, or?
And then this time when I had it the third time when I was driving, it wasn't going away.
You're like, all right.
I was driving, and there was, if you're familiar with Elgin, it's a park called Wing Park, and I parked in that parking lot, and I was like, fuck, you know, like I will leave it when it goes away. And I looked at the phone, and I was like, oh, my wife just got off work, so I called her. I'm like, hey, dude, I got this fucking pain. I'm at the parking lot at Wing Park. You know, come over. She's like, okay, so she comes over. By the time she came over, I was outside rolling on the floor, fucking with the pain. And she was like, yo, what's up? And then she was embarrassed because there was people there watching me fucking yell and scream. And she's like, do you want me to call 911? And I was just waiting for the pain to go away because I wanted to drive myself to the fucking hospital. You know? I didn't want to fucking, the whole fucking blah, blah, blah.
I'm seeing a common theme. Like,
She's like, if you're a dude, you know, whatever. And then she's
you don't
already-
want help from people. You're just like,
I'm like, blah, 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 blah. You know, eventually it kind of calms down and she drives me to the hospital. I get there and I tell him that it's my stomach. And I tell him my pain is up in my chest.
And you at no point were at this point thinking that there
Heart
was a
attack.
heart attack.
No,
Heart attack wasn't
I
even
still
on your
think my
mind. You're just like,
stomach,
something's wrong with my
yeah,
stomach.
yeah.
I mean, dude, I mean, would you, if you had any pain, think you had a heart attack? It would take a lot for me to think I had one.
And I don't know why. I think I've heard this just from movies. You know, again, I'm not the smartest guy, but like I think about my arm. Am I having arm pain?
So I was thinking,
I'm thinking about that kind of stuff
when
because
that
I've
was
heard those
happening-
stories of like that's how people know.
Interesting. I know the stroke one.
Yeah.
If someone's having a stroke, you tell them to stick their tongue out and
Yeah, like your
straight and
smile,
It'll go one side because they're like,
face paralysis. But,
So
but
I
I know
was
I think it's your left arm, right?
That's what I was thinking
like
about.
if you have left arm pain,
Yep.
you're like okay,
My
you're having a heart
problem
attack.
with- The thing with me, it was both arms would get like that.
Oh man.
Is that numb and tingling, or is
Yeah.
that just?
It was
pain?
like numb and things like that feeling when you like work out and then you like that after you did a big set or whatever, and like you're like, oh fuck, you know, like
But
whatever.
it wasn't just your left arm,
No, it was both.
because
arms.
that's like they say it's like your left arm.
Yes,
So that's the.
exactly. So I'm thinking left arm. Now it's both fucking arms.
So it made
And
you
I'm
feel
like,
okay. It's my stomach.
Yeah. So when I went in there, I told him, you know, I had gallstones or whatever, and I thought that was the pain from. I never fucking felt pain from that, so I'm figuring it's that. And then I'm like, it's right here in my chest, right? And then they yelled at me because I swore.
The hospital
the
yelled
lady,
at you?
the lady in the fucking reception, because I was like, it just fucking hurts. And then she's like, sir, there's kids here. I'm like, fucking yeah. Something's wrong. And then I was really upset. And then anyways, they kept me there for 2 days. I told them that I was a veteran, and then, you know, so that it gets covered by the VA and shit. I was like, you know, let me, you know, you gotta let the hospital know and see if they have a bed and transfer me over there. Because I don't want to pay shit, you know, especially for this. I don't know how much it's gonna cost. So I'm like letting them know that. And so for 2 days they did pain management. So all they gave me was just pain
So
stuff.
there was no tests to see.
No.
Wow.
Even though I told them it was in my chest. And then on the third day, they're like,
So crazy, right?
Well, I mean, like,
that blows my mind.
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, because this has just been every story I've ever heard about the doctor. I mean, like, you know, recently I just like really messed up my ankle, and then like my ears like falling out. Everyone's like, "Why don't you go to the doctor?" And I'm like, every story I ever hear is just
Well, you had that yourself going to get your ear checked, and they're just they're like,
yep.
don't worry about it.
We'll give you antibiotics for that thing growing out of your ear. Like, it doesn't work.
yeah. So the third day, the pain medicine wasn't doing the job anymore. And by this time, they already they looked in to see if I had gallstones. They're like, yeah, you do have stones, but they're not moving, so you shouldn't be in much pain. I'm like, well, I'm in fucking pain, and it's right here on my chest. And by the third day, they were giving me Dilaudid. I guess it's a pretty strong.
The lot of
Very
yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
And it wasn't taking the pain away. And this time, the pain was like coming more constant. It wasn't going away at all. So they're like, okay, well, we're gonna get you ready. They don't have a table. Let's just get rid of your gallstone and
So they're still convinced it's the gallstone.
Yeah.
That's
And they're gonna do surgery on you.
yeah. So then to prep
I had
me.
no idea his heart's
So they
clogged.
hook him up to an EKG for the test
To
and
prep
go,
me, they do an EKG. This girl comes
And she
to do
goes,
EKG.
"Your heart's not functioning."
No, she didn't say that. She just was quiet, but this time I
she
can't
said,
even lay
"Oh
down.
fuck!" And there's kids here.
But this time I can't even lay down. But this time I'm like just sitting up. Just that's what's taking the pain, like a little bit of the pressure off or whatever. And she like finishes the EKG and she walks out. And my wife is
She didn't say
sitting over
shit. She just walked out.
Yeah, she walked
Wow.
out. My
That's when you're like,
my wife is sitting over there working remotely, right? And then I hear code blue room, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, that's my room, bro. And she's like, no, it's not.
I love your wife too. She's awesome.
I'm like, it's not. Dude, that's my room. And as I said that, like all these fucking people rush in, man. Like a shitload of people rush in with a bunch of stuff.
wow.
And yeah, man, I was sitting there, and then this fucking doctor walks in. They responded to it, and the girl shows him the EKG, and she's like, "It's a really irregular EKG." And the dude goes, "So now we call codes on irregular EKGs?"
Wow.
And
he
I'm
was a
like,
doctor. The
yeah.
doctors are always sassy.
Yeah, man. And I'm like, and I'm like, I looked at him and he said that. I'm like, I don't want that dude talking to me. Don't let him talk to me. Because if I would have been regular, I would have said more stuff
Right.
like that. Luckily, this cardiologist also, I don't know if he was down the hall or something. He also responded to it. And when he saw the EKG, he looked at me. He's like, why are you still alive? And then,
I mean, it's been now like a week.
Yeah.
yeah, well, that's been constant. It's been 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
So then he had me. He told them to take me from there to the OR, and he did surgery and he put 1 stent in. He needed to put 2, but because my heart had taken such a beating for all those days, there was a lot.
He didn't want to put you
So,
too much
you
stress.
had 2 blockages.
I had to.
You had double blockage. Wow.
So I had what is called a widowmaker. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you heard of it.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow.
I've heard that expression, and
Yep.
it's like a double blockage.
And I've heard they.
It's a vein that's really small behind everything. Like
Okay.
really small veins, and I don't know. They explained it to me.
I've heard they can test you for that actually.
What?
They can like you can go get a test to see if you have one.
What?
I've like a widowmaker. Like that's like a like it's like I thought it's like a certain vein that like is like malformed. That
But how
like
would they test it? What do you mean? By the dye? I know. they
yeah,
do
like
a
one of
dye
those
thing,
type
right?
of yeah. You know what? I could be speaking a little out of turn, but yeah.
Look at your ear.
Yeah. Let me tell you medical advice here.
Get your
Yeah.
ear fixed.
Yeah.
So they go in through your leg? Did they do all that?
Yeah. So he went through my leg.
Isn't that the craziest thing?
Yeah, they go through your groin and up and yeah.
Yeah.
Man, so wild.
I was pretty weak after that. I still thought, but in my head, I'm like, I'm going back to work and stuff.
Gotta go to Chili's tonight.
We'll get you that margarita, I promise.
Yeah. Funny thing, when they came in with everything, those machines where they do the and they give you the shock shit.
Clear.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sitting there listening up, and they came in with one of those, and I'm like,
Thinking that your heart's
I'm
not
thinking
working at all, huh?
Yeah, and I'm thinking they're about to shock me, dude. And I'm fucking deadly afraid of fucking. I don't like electricity.
Yeah.
And then this dude, they're like getting ready. I'm like, hey, I'm still here. Don't fucking shock me. I remember that.
That's
part.
funny.
Yeah, I didn't even know that I was having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then they took me down, and obviously I remember them taking me through the floors and everything, and down to putting me on. I call it a slab, and then they just like falling asleep.
And then you wake up.
And
So you have one surgery, and then how long did you just wait to get your second stint in?
so the second stent was at the VA, because then by then I had to update them and everything, and that they've been taking really good care of me in the VA. I know a lot of people, have bad experiences with the VA. The VA has been really good to me. So, but anyways, as soon as I told them that I had a heart attack, the director of the cardiology department called me.
Okay.
He said, come over, just tell him you come to see me. I went to see him, and we went over stuff. But anyways, like a month later, he wanted some rest on my head and everything. A month later, that's when he put the next.
Oh, and then how did you feel during the month where you only had one in? Were you pretty? I mean,
Still the
obviously
pain?
you just recovered from heart attacks. You got to be weak, right?
Surgery.
Yeah, I was pretty weak,
Yeah.
man. I was really weak. I lost a lot of weight.
Did that
Yeah.
pain go away?
It did.
So almost instantly that pain
It
was
did
gone.
went away. Yeah.
Wow.
The
It
blood's
went away.
finally flowing again. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not stopping
it
in his
went
heart.
away.
Interesting.
They went away, and then they put the second stent.
But it makes you
in.
think like like pain signals.
Yeah, your body's telling you.
Yeah, your body's is
Yeah.
that what it is? Like there's a nervous system signal that's going like something's wrong.
Well, I mean,
I'm
I'll-
gonna shoot a pain here to try to tell you.
I'll tell you, my dad is
And we
the
often,
same
like,
thing
don't
like as you.
listen to
My dad would not complain about like anything ever. And so I used to wake up at like 3 a.m. to go work
He's
at the
out
post
there.
office at 5 a.m. And I woke up, and most mornings, like my dad would just wake up to like he would hear me wake up, and he would wake up and he would just want to talk to me. And so like I'd be trying to leave for work. I'd be like, so like one morning I was down there and I heard him coming downstairs. I was like, here he comes again, and he comes down and he's like he's like in his underwear, and he just goes like can you get mom for me? I think she should take me to the hospital. And I was like, okay, and he went, he was having a heart attack.
Wow.
So
How many
yeah.
years ago was that? That was,
I want to say like 5 or 6. It was a while
he's
ago.
doing pretty good.
He's doing really good. Yeah. So, but my thing that I always tell people about is, so for like you said, you're having mini heart attacks. So for like, I'm saying at least 3-4 months, I want to say probably a year, my dad's ankles would be huge all the time. And me and my mom would be like, yo, you need to get a test. You're going to have a heart attack. And he'd be like, nah, I'm fine. So one day he went to his doctor and he said, my family's saying I should get a stress test, on my heart. And he said, the doctor said, well, like, why are you thinking that? And he goes, well, because my wife and my son are telling me. And he said they both like laughed about it in the office. Like, how ridiculous. So my dad has a heart attack, and that doctor comes to the room and he's like, man, I'm really sorry about that. I don't know how we didn't catch it. Blah, blah, blah.
just because you guys suggested it.
Yeah, he
that's why they laughed it off.
Yeah, because we're stupid, and he's a doctor. A week
Assholes.
after my dad had a heart attack, that doctor died of a heart attack.
It's the #1 killer.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Damn,
And probably his wife and kids were like, "Hey, you should go get checked." He's like,
I'm fine.
"I'm a doctor."
Yeah, let me tell you, Yeah.
Hey,
So
it happens. You become complacent.
Yeah, yeah, you got
Complacency kills.
so then when did you do you feel normal now? When did you start to feel normal?
Yeah, like walk us through the recovery process.
Man, it took me a while because then they I got put in a bunch of medicine, a bunch of blood medicine,
and this is your
stuff
late
like that.
30s.
and
Yeah.
so you didn't have an open heart.
No.
Okay.
No,
I think my dad had an open heart. Yeah.
Really? He did?
Yeah.
He
I
has
think
got
so.
big scar?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, man, that would suck. But anyways, it took me a while, man. Yeah, I tried to do that doctor. He's like, you should become a vegetarian.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. So then I kind of tried that a little bit. I almost passed out a couple of times. I don't think I was eating enough, and
It's a tricky
and stuff
thing.
like
I
that.
did it for 12 years.
Oh man.
It's very just like the full protein spectrum is just hard to get. You got to eat the right things,
yeah,
right?
It's just, I mean, it just takes a little bit more like work. Like
Yeah.
you really got to work on your diet like
Yeah.
all the time. You're always thinking about diet, which it's a hard obsession to have. I hated it. So like, I mean, I actually loved it. I loved how I felt. I felt great. I did it throughout my entire, MMA
Yeah.
career.
I didn't like it.
Now I eat a lot of meat.
Yeah.
I didn't like it because I like with things I become obsessive.
Yeah.
Like that, like you said, like so.
Right, you have to be.
So at the beginning in the morning, I would weight myself in the morning, check my blood in the morning, weight myself in the night, and I just
It's too much, right?
Yeah, and then
It's on your head all the time.
counting
Mine.
the salt. I can't eat salt. I try not to eat a lot of salt. So counting salt and all this stuff, man. Getting upset at my wife or just being upset at my kids just because I'm like, something didn't come out right with that or anything like that, because in the morning I didn't have enough time to weight myself.
Do
and stuff
they?
like
So
that.
they give you other protocols? Like, so obviously they give you a dietary protocol, or they suggested something, but do they say anything about exercise, or do they say anything about like stress management?
No, to be well, they give you this whole thing. They probably
packet.
did, and I didn't read it. Who the fuck reads all the packages? If
I
you
do.
by all means. But yeah, I didn't. They probably did. I didn't read it.
Okay.
I just wonder because I do think about that, like all the different elements of it.
But there's help.
Obviously,
Yeah.
diet is important.
Yeah.
So is,
I think the main thing they told my dad, they literally just told my dad, don't eat carbohydrates.
Really?
That's like the only thing. Yeah.
They told me not
That's
to eat
weird.
salt,
Yeah.
and obviously he talked to me about that part.
Like,
So
hey,
it
like-
was
like,
clogged
can you
because it was cholesterol.
Okay.
Yeah.
But my cholesterol wasn't really that bad at that point. It's probably the best it had been before.
Okay.
What it really was, I think it was stress.
Okay.
It was
That's
really
why.
bad
That's why I
stress.
think. I mean, that's definitely a factor. So,
Yeah, it
it's
was
like-
really bad stress, probably from like work and me myself giving me stress. I'm really hard on myself. and then not getting sleep. You know, I was sleeping probably 3-4 hours a night. We were talking about
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about
yeah.
that.
I think that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I think that's what did it. So then I became obsessed about like sleeping, getting enough sleep and all that stuff. But it took me a while, a couple years.
And in terms of your weight too, were you heavier?
No,
So you're about the same
that's
weight?
probably a lot of things to save me. Yeah,
Well,
yeah. I was probably like maybe 150.
well.
Yeah, I'm 140, so maybe 10 pounds more.
Yeah, so it wasn't like you're obese
No,
and big.
you weren't a big dude.
No.
And in your head, you always imagine someone had a heart attack. At least in my head,
Big,
I always
heavy,
think,
you know,
like,
yeah.
it must
And
have been.
that's another reason why they were like, "Whoa, you're young, you're not obese, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah." Like, why would we think heart attack?
Man, but like, how crazy is it to think like literally? It's not like it's a big like to do. They stuck an EKG on you and went, oh geez. It's not like there was like a big long test that they had to do to you. They literally had to like stick something on you that like probably should just be hooked up to everyone who comes to the hospital. Like,
So I mean, we did look into lawyers and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but
You ain't gonna win, yeah.
No, they're like the best thing would have happened for you to die.
yeah.
If you wanted money.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you die, then we could have said something.
Yeah.
And then
But I'm glad you didn't die, buddy.
yeah.
I'm pretty happy about
I'm,
it.
happy. I'm glad you're still here.
I am.
Your wife would have got a lot of chilies. You know, lifetime of chilies.
Chili's for one.
40. Just for margaritas every day.
I'll be truthful. I never thought I would. Probably since I was a kid, I just been riding the wave, man. I never thought I was gonna make it. I passed 18, then I went to the Marine Corps, and I didn't think I was just been riding the wave. Then I got married, and I was like, well, I gotta do this stuff, And then obviously went to war, and I was like, well, that changed a lot of my mind, and that's why I got out of the Marine Corps. I had just finished having my kids. So that really changes you as a person and what you're thinking, what's important,
So you had your kids while you were in the Marines?
Yeah, one. My oldest one. My oldest one was actually born on the base hospital.
Wow.
Yeah. He Oscar. He's 19 now. Yeah, but he was like 4 or 5 months when I went to Iraq, and it really changed me. I wasn't
It
the
sounds
same
like
person.
you can hear these like evolutions as a human.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of changes, And I'm not good with changes, but I made a lot of pieces with changes.
Well, it's interesting, but just for a human to say I'm not good with changes, it sounds like you'll never be a happy person because every single. That's the only thing we can promise is that
Things are
you're
gonna
going to change. Like
Yeah.
everything you like about right now will eventually change. Everything you hate about right now is going to change.
Yep.
Jiu-jitsu helped me a lot with that, man.
Yeah, because you don't really get to control everything in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, exactly.
Control
No,
what you can and like accept it.
Yeah. No, it definitely. That jiu-jitsu has helped me a lot with that anxiety, depression, all the other stuff.
I know we've had lots of talks together privately about stuff, and I think it's just really great, man. I love that you're willing to talk about things. Now, I think that's maybe to embrace some change about yourself. I think when I'm listening to your story, I'm hearing things that I kind of like think about myself a little bit in certain ways. Of course, I haven't had to experience anything like that in terms of health yet, but like I have that mindset of I know at someday something will happen, no matter what. Every person is going to face
Adversity
or illness, death.
Yep.
All of this stuff is coming for all of us. There's no, it's just the reality of life. And I hear the way that almost like you didn't want to be an inconvenience. You wanted to deal with it yourself. Not talk, basically, hold it in. And this is something I can feel it from you now. It's like you're a little bit more open to, whatever is going on, you're willing to talk to people or talk to your family or your friends and stuff. I think that's a great change to accept about yourself.
Definitely. That has changed a lot for sure. A lot of things happened as a kid that I kept, in my inside of me. And then when you don't talk about stuff, you hold in a lot of anger and stuff like that. It stays with you, and then a lot of things happen after that as an adult, and then obviously this, I just I had to seek help.
And what do we do to exercise that out? Obviously it's like, like you say, you hold it in, then it becomes something bigger than it actually needs to be.
Yeah.
whenever we hold on to something, like whether it's trauma or just even just emotions, and like everyone has it. I don't care. You can say, some people will say like, oh yeah, I've never really felt any, I've never been sad or this. Like, I'm just always happy.
Yeah.
Those people are liars. They just don't know how to express it. Everyone has
They probably
it.
felt it the deepest,
Some people have, obviously I think there's a predisposition. Sometimes there's people genetically or more, just have that, there's like baselines, but every human has that ability. Everyone's going to experience sadness. I mean, we've all had that.
Yeah.
And hopefully you have a support system that you can then reach and talk to people and not be isolated.
Yeah.
So being a parent has really helped me with a lot of that stuff, because I don't think as a kid I didn't learn how to regulate my feelings, either anger, sadness, all that stuff. A lot of it came out in anger. I had a lot of arguments. That's why I got into fights a lot, and then a lot of problems. My Marines, probably thought I was a dickhead when I was in charge of all this stuff. They probably do, and I was. I wasn't. I don't think I was a very good leader when I was in the Marines. I could have been a lot better,
That's what experience does, though, right? Like down
For
the
sure.
road, you look back and be like, I probably would have handled that differently.
Wasn't a great leader there, but I'll be a good father now. You use it.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I mean, you change, right? And I'm not good with, like I said, I'm not good with change. But yeah, that jiu-jitsu has really helped me a lot with all of that.
And going back to so the heart attack, you're 37, 38, you said?
37.
37. And, you have your recovery. You start now focusing on your health. And so how old are you? You're 40, you're 44 now, 45?
45.
So you started jiu-jitsu about 3 years ago. Was there ever any concerns? I mean, so I find it fascinating,
There's a
like
lot of concerns,
right?
Yeah.
Like thinking about that. Did you think like, hey, I'm like my heart rate, my heart's
keep
going
it-
fast. Do I have any pain or this?
Yeah.
Have you
So-
had any scares with that?
Yeah.
Just that, and
Yeah,
that's for
for
me
sure.
asking because I'm curious.
Yeah,
Because I
for
didn't know
sure.
anything about it, and I always find this as a bit of advice for anyone who's a school owner. Is like you just don't know. You don't know, and like we don't have I think some schools probably intelligently do this, and it's something I know I want to do better at. We just don't really have the protocols in place of like trying to take more of an intake form.
Who are you?
Yeah, like I mean, it's not that we need to know everything about everyone, but like to know
Something important like that, for sure.
major, surgeries. If
Did I
you've
let
had
you know when I first started?
Yeah, I mean, not right away. It was me and you had, you did your 7-day free trial. You signed up. We could start talking about stuff. We were talking about you being a veteran, and I think it just came up while we were rolling.
Okay.
Like right after we were rolling, you're like, yeah, by the way, like I had a heart attack, and I was like,
Right now?
I was like, tell me more, and like, so. But that's my point is like if you're a school owner, you're like you'd be surprised, you don't know, and then you're pushing someone in a certain way that maybe you wouldn't have if you knew more, or I don't know. I just think it's something that there's a value to maybe knowing your students, but a little bit better,
100%.
not just on a personal level, but like a medical level, knowing some things like that is helpful.
Yeah, I mean, you got students who are like diabetic or something like that. It's like you gotta know these things. Yeah, like.
So I always do ask like stuff like that now as I get, this is something I learned. You're a part of that. Like I remember thinking like, I would never have guessed because you're a younger guy, skinny. Like I would think, heart attack.
Same thing the doctors do.
Right.
Like, here's pain medicine for your stomach. No, but anyways, how did that recovery and stuff?
Yeah.
So after you have a heart attack, they send you to rehab, and so what probably saved me was I used to run, before I had a heart attack, and
With your military background, just used to like rucking.
well, after I got out of the Marine Corps,
So you still would go run?
I just like enjoy running. I did 2 tough
Tough
mudders.
Mudder.
Nice.
I did 2 of them. So I enjoy that. I never really been into lifting, or any of that stuff. It's more calisthenic stuff and body movement and stuff like that. But a lot of the doctors say like, yeah, you're not a big guy, you're in good health, whatever. That's probably what saved you.
Yeah,
So-
without a doubt.
So yes, so I always liked running. I tried to get back into running after having the heart attack, but it was, most people run by themselves.
Yeah.
And if I'm running long distance,
Yeah.
what if I have a fucking heart attack on the fucking
Yeah, you got to
trail?
get like one of those like what do they call them? Life alert
Mhm.
kind
Yeah.
of thing or something, right?
Yeah,
To
so
tell
that was
people.
always in my mind.
Yeah.
And then it took me a couple years to regulate like my food and how I felt. I still even now sometimes I feel like I'm fucking like I need to eat or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So So that took a while, and then I would try running with my kids, try to get them to run with me. And then
Did you have to get?
Yeah.
Did you ever have to get something like a? Not, I'm sure you could do whatever you want, but like, did you have any like doctor approval of like, can I go back to this? Like a check-in where they're like, oh yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, go work out as much as you want.
I go see my cardiologist every 6 months, right?
And they know like, hey, I'm
yeah.
I mean, because since you've competed in jiu-jitsu a few times,
Yeah.
So
I think about this stuff because I'm like,
It's important.
you
It's
ready?
important to know. Yeah.
it's crazy because I was my heart right now is at 31%, and if it would have gone under 30, I would have needed a pacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
Your heart.
That's how they explain it to me.
Can you maybe explain to me
So
a
it's
little
like
more?
my,
what you mean?
my grandma's heart is like in the teens. She needs another. She had
A pacemaker?
Yeah, she's had a
And
pacemaker.
does that
and
mean
she's done it twice?
I don't know what it means.
What is it? What is that
So
percentage
I know that my heart took a beating and that it lost a lot of muscle, and the heart is a muscle that you can't really work out to make bigger. And I don't know if that.
I guess this is what I'm asking. Are me and Joey who've had no trauma at 100? Or
Speak for yourself.
Are we just like well, with that?
I've had my heart broken by many women.
Well, but that's also what I'm asking is like you are definitely organ and internally wise probably much more healthy than me. So like, is your heart at 90 and mine's at like 73?
I've been making up for lost time on my bacon and stuff and eggs.
You're never catching up to the Mountain Dews I've drank.
No, I don't know. We'd have to look that up.
Interesting. I'm gonna look that up. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay.
I don't know if that's even electrical terminology or if they're talking about blood flow.
Oxygen, maybe the amount of oxygen in your blood.
I don't have no idea.
Okay.
But yeah, like my
They probably explained it to me, bro.
Yeah.
But I forgot. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I just remember that.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
which is scary to think about.
Yeah.
You know, it's like now in your mind of like,
it made me double think about.
I'm only
working out and
2%
stuff.
away from being a pacemaker.
It made me work. Think about working out and stuff. So when I started jiu-jitsu, and another part too is that I had to get used to is blood thinners. You know. When I first started taking them, I was like,
Yeah, I was always concerned about you getting like cut,
Yep.
getting.
Dad.
I know you swell up
or bumping.
Yeah.
You know, like I would.
He got kneed one time. I don't remember who it was. You got kneed in the head. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And his head, he had a lump
Really?
on his head that was like,
Yeah.
it was special. I've never seen a lump.
Really?
It started right. It came
Remember?
right away.
You're like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got hit pretty hard. And I'm like,
It's gonna
and
blow
I'm
up.
watching. I'm like, oh yeah.
Like, it's gonna blow up right now. But yeah, so I had to get used to that. You know, at the beginning, I would bump myself and I wouldn't think anything. Like 2 days
Big
later,
bruise,
I'm
big
like,
swollen.
fuck, like, dude, and I have this big ass bruise, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is it? So eventually, I'm like, oh, it's a fucking blood thinner.
From blood
you know?
thinners, yep.
Yeah. So when I started jiu-jitsu, that was a concern,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But you know, Donnie had good people there, you know, and we took care of each other. It wasn't a bad place, you know. Like Donnie, you know, I told him about my heart attack and everything, and then working out different muscles, different stuff. Some of those pains, like in the chest pains and stuff like that afterwards, and it's like I would get confused. I'm having a heart attack, like stuff like that.
You don't know if
what's
that's like
going on?
psychological
Yeah.
too in
Yeah,
your head.
very, very.
I feel it again.
And then I don't know if it happened then or what. I hurt my rib at one point, and like this rib is like a little bit more out than the other one. It happened
From rolling.
I'm pretty sure it happened at a seminar. One of the only seminars I went to over in Hampa.
Okay. At Darby's.
Yeah,
Hampa.
and it was afterwards. I tried to roll with this kid, and he dropped me.
Oh.
He landed right on top of me. And I was like, oh, my fucking rib. And then after that, I was out for a bit, and I was, and I'm pretty sure that took my rib out.
But that sharp pain from it.
Yeah. So even with that, man, I couldn't sleep, and I was like, oh, my wife was like, oh, I would fucking yell and scream, you know.
She's like, keep it down.
I didn't go to.
Don't act like you're having a heart attack.
if
She
you-
has changed. She has changed her
No,
ways.
everything's a heart attack now, right? Yeah.
So to be honest, I mean, one of the nurses like looked at her and said, you know, like, okay, like this is a Marine dude. I'm pretty sure he's been through some pain, through some
Yeah.
stuff.
If he's complaining, yeah.
like
That's why you got to really before you just make that judgment as a nurse or as a doctor.
Yep.
I think they need to take into account who's saying it. Like when someone says, "I'm in so much pain," and they literally just need to take a shit, like their stomach hurts, right? That does happen. Just, you know, like, oh, I'm dying. Okay, let's give them some laxatives.
The story my mom always tells is like when my toe was ripped off. They just sat me there for a while before they did the surgery to put it back on. Like I was literally sitting there for like 4 or 5 hours, and they'd given me Dilaudid, and like it just really didn't affect me that much. So then like my toe was just like aching. It wasn't like excruciating.
You had phantom pain?
No, but it was just
scratching your toe.
It was still hooked on. There was a bone hanging out, but it was just like aching. And so like after like sitting there for 3 or 4 hours, they said to me before, they were like, "We don't want to give you painkillers if you're going to go into surgery, but we can give them to you." So after like 3 or 4 hours, I turned to the lady and I'm like, "I mean, if I'm going to still be sitting here, I'll take some painkillers." And she goes, "Well, what's your pain like?" And I'm like, on like a scale of 1 to 10, I go, "I don't know, like a 4." And then she walked out to my mom and went like, "His toe's hanging off, but it's a 4." And I remember just telling my mom like,
I don't like the pain scale.
Yeah,
I fuck that up a lot.
A 10.
How the fuck do you know?
But a 10 to me is, like screaming on the battlefield, like that's
Which
a 10.
is never gonna
I would
happen.
never be. Yes,
How do you know the skill? Like, what?
Yeah. To me, everything's a 10.
Okay,
That's how I look at it.
Okay, yeah.
I'm like, does it hurt or not?
Yeah.
If it hurts, it's a 10.
Yeah,
I stubbed my toe, it's a 10.
Yeah, like you squeezing my ear last night was like a 3. You know, like and I didn't like it. It hurt, but yeah,
it's funny. I mean, it's just on or off. It's a light switch.
Yeah.
Is there pain or no
you got
pain?
a 1 or a 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking, it hurts. I don't know.
It's the worst. That's great.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, to me, it's super impressive to see someone who has to go through at an age like that to have to then recover. And I can tell, like you said, you're someone who like takes it serious. Then you're focused on your diet, you're focused on your health. But to see you then, basically conquer that fight. Yeah, that's a huge. I mean, that's a much more impressive win than the novice MMA fight. It's like, it's an impressive win to then be able to do, because you enjoy jiu-jitsu and you've gone out and competed and done really well. I was super impressed when you competed with us as a group. It was awesome. Yeah. Super fun. It's like, to me, that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Like you've now, instead of letting that like take you out of the game, you're still in the game.
Yeah, man. I mean,
metaphorically,
I'm on borrowed time, man.
Literally.
Yes.
I'm on borrowed time.
We all are, though.
Yeah.
I mean, some of us feel it more than others, but like for anyone who doesn't understand that, like you're on borrowed time, you're missing out. Like I don't care if you're 20 years old.
Yep.
You're like, don't worry about it. I'm so young. Now you're 30.
You never know.
I'm still young. Now we're getting to a point. It's like,
yeah.
Do you even, how valuable is your time?
Yeah. Every moment.
Yeah. Oh, well, I for sure. One thing I say to myself, like, try to be realistic, like I gotta be realistic about my to be able to do whatever, So that's why I say I'm in borrowed time, But I'm making like that definitely changes, Like I gotta try new stuff, and I gotta not let stuff stop what I'm trying to do, or something, If I could, I mean, at one point I wanted to go jump off a plane, just to go jump off a plane, but I don't think I could take it, And like, I think the anxiety just going up there, I think my heart probably won't.
We enjoy what we're talking about the other day.
Yeah,
It's just risk reward. Yeah, there's not much of a reward.
People love it, I guess. Yeah. I could imagine I would be sred that I might get hooked on it, and then I'd be like, I want to do this all the time.
Yeah,
like
I can't imagine myself getting hooked. Do you remember Matt Congdon? Who used to fight? He's like a sky. He like skydives professionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that guy. He's one of the guys who used to train with us like back in the day, and he stopped training, and then he came back like probably like 2-3 years ago. And I was talking to him. He's like, "Yeah, I skydive." I was like, "What?" He does the suits and the teams and all that type of stuff. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's it's definitely no interest.
Yeah.
So when, earlier you asked about what did they say, what can you do, whatever.
Yeah.
So we ask, because my wife knows I'm crazy and I want to go run and I want to do stuff like that,
Or
and
do a jiu-jitsu competition.
Or something. Well, at that point I had to start doing jiu-jitsu, but she knows I had fought before, So she's like, this, whatever. So she was there with me when we asked, and I asked, well, can I go skydiving? He's like, if you feel fine, yeah, sure.
Wow.
So like, okay.
You really pushed the limit. If you start
like,
there,
don't do that. Don't.
And then you're like, can I try like a Zumba class? No. Skydiving, way safer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's interesting then. I mean, so I would assume more I mean, wouldn't the risk be then? Do they tell you like don't ever go see a scary movie again?
I don't know.
I know it sounds stupid, but I mean, like I would assume
This guy loves Halloween.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, like if they're concerned about your heart getting stressed, I mean, it's like do you tell your kids not to surprise you? I'm like seriously, I don't.
I'm not gonna lie, man. At the beginning, little things would like, like they've been, like recuperated and stuff like that. And now, man, I can take, I can
Take a jump scare.
Yeah, I'm rolling.
I was gonna scare you.
I'm rolling 2-3 times.
I mean, like I
30,
watched
40
that
minutes.
movie Smile 2. I mean, it got me some. I
It
mean,
got
I
you
thought I was
going?
having a hard attack every once in a while. God, it's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like getting scared.
Like a jump scare, yeah.
But let's talk about Halloween though. You are a big Halloween guy. I remember like not this year, but last year, you had.
I did it this year too.
Did you do it again? I remember but you had a big display at your house.
Well,
basically like a haunted house at his house.
no, I wasn't.
And
like that big.
tacos.
Okay.
It wasn't that big. No, but so probably the only good experience or the only good memories I have of Mexico is going out in Halloween and trying to get candy. And that's probably why it's one of my favorite.
So since you were a kid, huh?
Since then, and I, in California, we used to go trick or treating. That was fun, It was fun going out there, and doing that. And when I came here, it's fucking cold, man.
That's different. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
about that. California's like,
Oh, yeah.
kids are running around with short sleeves
Yes.
for Halloween.
Yeah.
You have your
Where we have snow.
you have your costume on with a hoodie on over it because you're freezing.
I remember as a kid like being a Ninja Turtle and then having to wear like a winter coat. I'm like, this ruins it.
So, and then in California, I remember first seeing the first, big displays with people's houses, like all this different stuff. There's different houses in the neighborhood and stuff that did that.
You knew that was going to be your house, sir?
No, I mean, I don't do my house like that, Last year we just put lights, and then some stuff in the front. It wasn't that big. There's a house down the street that they turned their yard into a cemetery and they actually hire.
Yeah, some people do it big.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I went to high school with the Macs, and I don't know if you remember Mac Manor, the haunted house in Foxborough Grove.
Kinda.
It was like there was like a huge.
deal.
It was like the haunted house of the McHenry County, and so they ran it. And so then every year for Christmas and Halloween, they decorate their yard like
Kids walk through it.
and
right?
it's like their drive through. You can drive through. They have like signs up, hey, drive through. You can put tips and stuff. It's insane. I'll take videos of it this year. It's
That's
crazy.
cool.
Yeah, some people go nuts, man.
Yeah.
And those guys even get actors. And like certain nights you can come over and there's actors there scaring
That's
you.
fun.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, they do pretty good.
You're like, warning, I've had a heart attack. I come in peace.
So, and then I eventually got a house, a house here in Elgin, and man, that house, it was weird because the street where I live, nobody would fucking come down the street.
Oh, it's the worst.
But the other street.
This is
on the
my
right-
first Halloween with my
packed.
house, and we had like 2 kids walking
yeah.
around.
Yeah, so
You live in like an
I was
adult
like,
neighborhood. There's no
yeah,
kids in that
we're all
neighborhood.
old people,
Yeah.
but
So it was fucking, like.
I was like, we had all this candy bags.
Joey's all
ready.
dressed up. He's sitting out there ready to scare kids like all night,
Nothing.
24 hours.
Yeah, for many years, we lived there for like 12 years. I was like, man, whatever. And then finally, 2 years ago, we moved into this other house in Gilbert. And, talking to the neighbors and stuff.
More kids.
It was going to get Halloween time. And I asked one of the neighbors, like, taking Caesar to the fucking bus stop. And I was like, hey, how's it get here in Halloween? He's like, oh, it gets pretty good. There's a lot of people. He's like, and you moved into a house where they used to give out the big goose candy.
So you gotta live up to the.
Like, you got something to
They talked him up.
I'm like, motherfucker.
Now
So
you
I went
gotta-
to tell my wife, like, hey, man, they gave out the good candy.
You can't give out Tootsie Rolls.
Full size candy bars.
And I
Yeah.
was like, we've been ready for this shit. Like we've been ready for like people to come to Halloween. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Man. So then we're like, let's, so we got the lights on it and everything. And then I had always thought, I've seen somebody do it, I think in California or somewhere in the city. Where they had a taco truck, and I was like, and I have a friend, that I hired him before, and I'm like, hey, what do you think about this, blah blah blah. And he's like, yeah, I'll do it.
So when the kids come up, they say trick or treat. You give them a taco.
I give them, they have a choice. They get candy. I got candy too, and I got full size candy last year.
Yeah.
And they had I have a candy, but they get a choice if they wanted a taco. So yeah,
That's
amazing.
awesome, dude.
I mean,
The
that would have been
parents
the
too.
coolest thing ever as a
the
kid.
parents too,
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
last year,
I gotta take a trip out.
Yeah, I would have literally just tell my kid like, hit those 10 houses. I'm gonna get 10 tacos. Yeah, come back.
well, you get one taco for free.
That's what I'm saying. I would buy them. Yeah.
So the option is you get one taco, and then if you want more, you can buy them from there.
Man.
Kyle's has no kids, but he's like walking with like
Tacos.
random kids. Like, I'm his dad.
Get another one.
Yeah, that's cool. And man, the neighborhood gets packed, And
That's
last
cool.
year it snowed, and I was worried, but people still showed up, man. It was a good turnout.
That's awesome.
And this year, my guy ran out of meat and tortillas in the middle.
Wow,
of
that's
it.
a good sign.
He had to get more meat and more tortillas
him.
coming over. Yeah, we had a line of people.
You have to bring your
nice.
That's cool.
You have to
Yeah.
bring your guy out here and do
Yeah.
it. We'll do a food truck day again.
Yeah, one of the open mats if he wants to.
We've done it. We've had
That
food
one guy,
trucks here.
that
It
one
was
guy
fun.
when we did the white belt.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I don't know how mobile he is, but yeah, because he's like, he's trying to hustle, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
he's here, there, and trying to do different things.
I mean, I love the idea of a food truck.
That's a
I
great
think it's
idea.
the coolest concept.
I mean, honestly, the best what I've seen is the best way to do a food truck is one of those ones you got like I serve 3 things. I
Yeah,
do
simple.
these 3 things really good. If you want it, take
Yeah.
it. If you
Yeah, it's
don't,
not
get
a
out of here.
restaurant.
Yeah.
It's a food truck.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
no,
so-
I love them.
Man, it
they're
was
good.
awesome. I mean, the neighborhood gets really good. There's people, going around giving out shots and stuff.
It's a party, huh?
Yeah,
That's great.
There's a house on the street that gives out.
So you get the tacos.
What's that? Sugar cones, like the stuff, that
Funnel cakes?
No, the
Ice cream?
fluffy stuff, like
That's what's called I know
Cotton
it.
candy?
cotton candy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
Gives out kind of candy.
I was
The guy
going.
down
My
the
brain was
street
going like
gives
foam,
sugar.
eat foam. Yeah.
Insulation, basically.
out- that house that
Sugar insulation.
Yeah, I mean, that's so
It's so
bad
good.
for you.
Yeah.
the house that does the cemetery thing. They gave out margaritas.
So your wife was happy.
So she didn't go down. We were busy.
She was
at
at
our house.
Chili's.
She was at Chili's.
Yeah, no, it was
That's funny.
it got good this year, man.
That's awesome.
It got
cool.
good. We were, I was probably not gonna do it this year, blah blah blah. When I talked to my kids, and my older one's like, "I'll go half on it." Okay, cool. Then we're doing it.
Well, I feel like it's cool to finally have you on the podcast because I know a lot of these little stories and I was excited for people to hear it.
That's cool.
But I know these all because you're a barber
Yeah,
and you've cut me and
Yes.
Kyle's hair
Yeah.
many times.
Yeah,
We've been missing you.
We've been missing
Yeah,
you.
I
I
know.
know you've been gone.
Obviously.
yeah. I haven't. Well, I recently got laid off from my full time, my IT job. So I went back to cutting hair. So my schedule's been like. Blah, blah,
Were you
blah.
cutting hair back in for the Marines? Were you doing?
No, I wish I would have done it then, because I would have made good money.
Right.
But no, I wasn't. I wanted to. I just didn't want to fuck up people's hair. And then if I fuck up people's hair, he's getting in trouble and I'm getting in trouble.
Yeah. So you're this was a newer passion because you love it.
Well,
Yeah, you're into it.
I've always, like, when I was a kid, my dad would take me to get haircuts, in Mexico, and there was a barber, and
Like a real barber.
the smell of it, the smell of the talc and
Yeah.
the aftershave and like the feeling of like, man, that fucking feels cool.
Yeah,
you know?
the barber is
The
different.
shaving
It's not
cream
a
with the
haircut.
bristle brush.
The barber shop is different.
Yeah.
I just liked it, So I was kind of like wanted to learn. In Mexico, most of the guys that cut hair, it's mostly females that cut hair. At least what I remember. Now it might be different. Maybe in the city it was different, but at least where I live. And if a guy cuts hair, mostly they think he's gay or something.
It's like Zohan.
in the back of my head, It's also in the back of my head, so I never really pursued it,
Maricon.
But but then when I when I was doing IT and I was like, man, I don't really like getting yelled at people that are having issues with their computers. Or it was, and then I had my heart attack. I had my heart attack in the middle of going to school. So that's probably another reason.
Oh, to be a barber?
Yeah, because I
So
was
why?
working, I was going to school.
Oh man, stress. Yeah.
So and all that stuff, So I think that's another,
Yeah,
kinda
that adds up.
pushed up a lot, But then I got my license in 2017.
So is that
2018.
now? That's your full time gig? That's like
Right
your-
now? Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah,
Awesome, man.
I'm over Beersley's and Gilbert's. Shout out to the
Shout
guys
out.
there, yeah.
Hear
If
that?
you need a cut,
Visit.
Stop by
dude.
Beardsley's.
I want you to be like the jiu-jitsu barber. I think
Yeah, I
it's like a
know.
thing, man.
I know.
I think you got to build that brand up.
you can come to tournaments, cut people's hairs between matches. You know,
You know how small the world is, man. Yes, 3 weeks ago, I cut this dude's hair on a Saturday. He came in really early, and my Jason, the guy there, he's like, "Hey, can you cut this guy, do his beard and everything, get him out by this time?" Like, I'll try. I'll get there. Boom, boom, boom. Try to get him out, and he was going to some party, and then he came last week, and somebody else did it because I was running behind, and then he came back yesterday, and I'm draping him and getting ready to do it. And like, what do you got going on tomorrow? Blah blah blah. I'm like, tomorrow I'm gonna go to the gym, and I'm probably gonna do the podcast they do there. And I do jiu-jitsu. And then he's because, man, everybody that does jiu-jitsu wants to talk about jiu-jitsu, right?
Yep.
If you
but
bring up
nobody-
jiu-jitsu, yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be now he's your best friend.
So then he goes, where do you go? What gym you go to? And I'm like, oh, it's in Bartlett, in the Real MMA. He's like, with Joey.
Oh,
I'm like,
no way.
I'm like, yeah, with Joey, man. He's like, oh, I just started there. He's like, I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, man, I just started there. His boss comes here. His boss name is Chris.
Chris.
And his name is
Chris Stevens. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
His name is
Oh,
Dominic.
yeah, Dom. Yeah, he
Yeah.
just signed up.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, yeah, I just started. I just signed up. We started talking about that.
Nice, man.
He
He's
used
a
to
good guy. He wrestled.
Yeah, he used to do
Yeah.
wrestling and
That's
stuff.
cool.
We're talking about that and stuff like that. So,
That's
so yeah.
a small world, man.
Yeah, exactly, man. So I
And
was like,
jiu-jitsu is a connector. Like
Yep.
if you I mean, it's whatever hobbies you have. I guess anything could be a connector, but like
Jiu-jitsu just
is
really-
special. Like if you say you jiu-jitsu and they do jiu-jitsu, it's like instantly like,
Yeah.
we understand
You
each
have,
other.
you have
know?
a different bond. Yeah.
yeah.
You're willing to do the crazy shit that I'm willing to do. We like each other.
We're definitely on some sort of the same page.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so he was, like you say, he's coming back a couple of times. He didn't know about jiu-jitsu, so I hopefully
He just signed up.
yeah,
like
yeah.
a week ago.
Yeah, he said he came, he liked just like me.
Yeah, we
liked
did.
the structure.
I did a private lesson with him. Kind of showed him what the system is, like how we're structured and stuff. And then he came to a group class
Nice.
and signed up.
Yeah, he said he liked it right away. He's like, I like this, so might as well sign up.
That's awesome.
He's like, he told me I can come for more classes to try. I'm like, yeah, that's Joey.
That's
You
cool.
know?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I want people to really know whether they want to do this or not.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I'm not a of course this is a business, like anything, just like cutting hair.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You don't want to just of course you'd like people to like
But we're an
your
ice cream,
service.
we're an ice cream shop that gives free samples.
Well, we give a lot of samples,
Yeah.
because I believe in the product, and
Sure.
if you get hooked on it, it's like, okay,
You're gonna like
love
one of
it.
these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, same like me. I took a week. I'm like, I'm gonna sign up. There's that's just
Yeah.
there's no ifs or buts about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
give people an opportunity to see what this is for them, and I really believe it. So I give free private lessons
Yep.
to new people so they can experience it and feel more comfortable. Because sometimes it's
Yeah.
tough whether
Wanna get to
whether-
know you a little
whether
bit.
they don't want to just do a group class.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that,
Makes
or
sense, yeah.
or time wise, they don't know.
It's intimidating, man. It is.
Yeah, I mean, what's your
my first day walking in here was intimidating.
Really?
Yeah, for me,
Even though you've already
for
trained?
me, my own anxieties, my own in my head stuff. Man, for like a month, I would sit outside sometimes. The one time I almost drove back to my house.
Really?
Yeah. I just.
Can you articulate why? Like just
Well, the first day coming over here was just like new people,
Just
It's
new people,
just
yeah.
me, and I could be offstandish, and then just
everyone loves you,
Yeah.
dude. Everyone's like
Man, dude.
40, whoa, 40,
Yep.
and you're just like, what up?
And I tell that to my wife, and she's like, don't believe it. I don't know. That dick.
That's funny.
I really, in the past, I guess, I don't know, 5-8 years, something. I really try to turn a leaf, man. Trying to be, a little bit different. And a lot of it has helped talking to therapists and all this other stuff, and just talking about, like I said, stuff that's been in with me for many years. Stuff like that, and then obviously experiences in combat and talking, missing people or losing people. You gotta talk about that stuff, and if you don't, it does kill you. It starts destroying you.
A slow death, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I really have tried to change, And I told my mom, like, I've been trying to change, dude. And she's like, yeah, I know you have. You have.
No, that's good, man.
I try to be a little bit more, friendly.
Well, and if nothing else, too, man, I think you'll respond well to this idea, this concept. This concept is that like you're not alone with those feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to say something like this is a platform, people get to listen to it, and there's someone else who I've talked to people people who have tried training with us,
Mm-hmm.
who are from the same background in terms of military experience, and I can just tell have some stuff that they're repressing and not being able to maybe have a community to talk to or whatever it might be. So to hear you then articulate that, like you are someone who's trained jiu-jitsu, who's educator, you've done, still are nervous to do it.
Yeah.
You're not the only person. So whoever's listening, you're not the only person. I'm saying,
sure.
Everyone's felt this,
Yeah. And even
no matter what it is, too. And there's people who have more reasons, less reasons to be up, to be nervous. Everyone has it, so it's
Open mat can be like the first open mats that I came to, they can be intimidating. There's a lot of people that you don't know.
Yep.
And the sweat.
Yep.
You're like, look at like these people are hardcore. Like,
going-
no one's training hard.
Trying to rip each other's heads
I
off.
was just ready to just flow a little bit.
You want to roll with your friends? Someone's grabbing you. Yeah, it can be crazy.
Yeah, I really believe we're all here to help each other.
Yeah, but I was gonna say a good thing about the school and just the family here is I took three weeks of break, right? And I actually thought about this when I parked today, and I was like, I parked and I didn't even think about coming in. I just came in, and as I was getting out of my car, I was like, man, I remember when I came, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks into it, and I was like, I was like scared to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was not fucking scared. I don't mind saying it.
But you're settled in now, so you're home now. This is one of your homes, so like
Everyone gets so excited when you walk in.
Yeah, everybody was like, "Hey, what's going on?" I was excited that people were more excited here than at my house to see me. And
shout out Caesar.
Garfield, be nicer, Garfield.
Hey, my dogs love me.
Hey man, Garfield, if you want some more Detroit style
yeah, he wants that Detroit style pizza.
There you go, Detroit style pizza.
That's how me and him bonded. Yep, that's how me and him bonded. Was Detroit style pizza.
Just so everyone knows, so Caesar is your youngest, right?
My youngest, yeah.
Yep.
And he's just an awesome, funny kid.
Yep.
He came with us to a jiu-jitsu retreat.
In
So
Florida, yeah.
40 was there to train, and you brought him there as like kind of like a gift, right? It was like a reward.
Kind of, yeah. He's been good. He's
doing
a good kid,
doing good in school, just being a good kid. So he came with. He got to hang out at the pool and stuff. And
so like, but
we would hang out with him all the time. We'd play games.
Well, but so like every night you were kind of just with him most nights, and then the last night, he was kind of shy. And the last night he came on, got pizza with us, and he immediately opened up, and then he was
he was being himself.
Yeah, it was great.
And he was like, I think I'll try jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he came for a little bit,
because he had tried it. He had done it before over there with Donnie.
And he took it when he came here. It was all business.
Yeah.
I like trying to make jokes of him. He's like, when can I compete? I was like, let's take it slow.
Yeah.
That's great.
You tell Garfield I said what's up. Man.
Yeah. I always tell him, like, hey, the guy say what's up. That's great, man.
We're always there for him. I like that kid a lot.
He was awesome.
The thing is,
He's got a personality.
Yeah, he was funny.
You can't teach that. He's
Huevos.
funny as fuck. Yeah. Huevos.
What is he's going through his thing, and he's trying different stuff. He tried flag football this fall.
He's into
summer,
skateboarding too, right?
He's trying to do skateboarding.
Rough.
And stuff
That's
like
a rough
that,
one.
He's trying different things, and I one thing I tell people, remember Leah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leah's sweet.
She's
Yeah.
doing wrestling, man.
Is she your niece?
No,
or is she just a friend, right?
Just a daughter.
So you're
of a
kind of like an
friend,
uncle, and like a friend uncle.
Me and Leah.
She's trying wrestling?
Got along pretty good. She's doing wrestling, man.
Great.
In high school.
That's good.
Yeah, man. I was really.
So Leah, I don't know if you were training with us then.
I don't think I met her. Yeah,
It was a while back, but
Teenage
young girl.
I think she's 14, 15.
Very
no,
young,
maybe
very
16.
sweet.
No,
And
she just turned 15. Sorry.
Wow,
Yeah, I went to her quince.
nice. Yeah, that's
yeah.
quinceañera.
Quince's 15. Yeah.
Kyle had one of those.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. One day.
Hey,
Quinceañera.
my nephew.
Do they do that for boys? They do.
in my opinion, they shouldn't.
Shouldn't, right?
But
It's like
but they do.
traditionally speaking, it's a female
It's
thing.
a female thing, and in Mexico.
Yeah, it's a quinceañera, right?
Yeah, it's
for girls. Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, people would get married very, very young, and at 15, it's like
You're ready to have a baby.
You're coming now to be you're growing up, whatever. But you got to think about it. You know, most people didn't go to school. You know, by that finish maybe elementary, they started working and stuff like that. You know, you grow up quick. You know? Yeah. So, anyways, they would do that, and I think for a girl it's fine. But I don't know.
For a boy, get a job.
Yeah, that's
do
what
push-ups or something. Yeah,
exactly. That's what it was. You know? Yeah, that's exactly
no party
what it
for
was.
you.
Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah,
That's how it
go
was
drink
for
a
real.
beer. Yeah. Light up a cigarette.
But they do it now. People do it. You know,
Interesting.
for boys. And,
Just to-
whatever. It's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't.
Equality.
Yeah.
Do they do it for 34-year-olds? Because I'm thinking next year.
What do you?
Finally ready to be an adult.
How do you say it in Spanish? Trente.
34.
There you go.
Oh,
You ready to be an
I'll throw
adult?
a quattro party for you.
There you go.
Yeah. God, we're getting old, huh?
But no, she's doing wrestling, man. And I'm
That's
really happy
awesome.
with her. Yeah, she told
Yeah,
me
you
about
tell
it.
her.
I'm so
Yeah,
happy.
tell her what's up. I think she, she's always welcome if she
Yeah.
wants. You know, I
She
think
knows.
wrestling will
She
definitely
knows.
be.
Yeah.
she'll
She
get the
knows.
spark.
She, you know, like me and her, we talked and we clicked, you know, and she was like, she messaged me and she was like, I kind of want to try this. I'm like, you should. It's gonna challenge you.
Yeah, she did that herself. She
Really?
asked him about jiu-jitsu because she saw him training and like she came
saw a
to
video.
classes.
Yeah,
That's
she saw
really
a video
cool.
of Taylor training. 'Cause I was
okay.
talking to her like, look, girls can do it.
You
too.
hear that, Taylor?
Taylor
Inspiring
Swift.
people
she
you don't
did.
even
Yeah,
know.
she did. I'm like, look, girls can do it. And I show her videos of Taylor and I show her other videos of other girls, you know, rolling. And
I mean, it's been a long time. It's like, you know, our program's grown so much since she started.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, you know, she would definitely like the growth for the more females now.
But what I was going into, I was like, what I told Caesar and tell her, and now I tell myself is, the mat's always gonna be there. You know, like the gym is always gonna be there. So you can take your 5-10 days or whatever break,
Yeah.
week, months, whatever, but it's always gonna be here. You know, especially if you like it. If you really like it,
It's a
always gonna be
lifestyle
there.
that
100%.
yeah, there's no seasons. There's no
Yeah.
missed opportunities. The only missed opportunities, obviously, every day is a chance.
Yeah.
So,
Everybody getting
10
better
days
if you're not here.
becomes 10 years
Yeah.
really quickly,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
and maybe I'll start now. It's like, oh, you had you should have.
yeah.
So just keep, that's
I mean,
something I always.
I wish I would have started when I did that MMA fight. I
Every
wish I would have
single
started
person,
then.
every single
For
person.
sure.
There's no person in the world who
Ooh,
does
for
jujitsu
sure.
wishes they didn't start earlier.
Start later. Yeah.
I've never heard someone like, I wish I would have started next year.
Yep.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I would have kept up more with Adrian
yeah.
Yeah.
and the bully
Who's a bully?
TJ.
TJ's the bully.
Yeah.
TJ bully.
He is
bully
a bully.
time,
He's
man.
like the happiest bully though.
Yeah,
isn't
he
he?
loves
does
it.
it with a smile, bro.
Yeah.
That's what's worse.
He
man.
knows he's got to dive deep down. He's
Yeah, you
being
have a-
he's being mean on purpose. Yeah.
But
No,
you have a good good rivalry with TJ.
Yeah,
I love
I
it.
just always talk shit.
I love
to him.
it.
I always keep messing.
Hey, come
with
on,
him,
TJ.
man. I always mess with him. Yeah.
Yeah, you have
I try to get him to.
you have that like
smile.
street style jujitsu, which I think Kyle appreciates. I appreciate it too.
Yeah.
Where like there's a lot of smack talking for fun.
It depends
I love
who
it. Yeah.
is, you know?
Where
Yeah,
like
sometimes,
the
yeah.
conversations go along. Me and Kyle
Depends
do
who
it
it is,
too.
but yeah,
Yep.
I do. With TJ, I do it all the time.
Yeah, it's fun.
I was like, yeah, I'm trying to take you lunch money, and then I found out he's cool. I'm like, man, you go to school here? What the heck?
His lunch money's my money sometimes.
One of the really good ones that happened. This was probably like a month or two ago. Is Joey caught me in this like reverse omoplata. Like I had
And
my
you're like,
hands, I had my hands locked in my stomach, and Joey's just like, "You're not getting out of this." And I was like, I know. I was just like, I don't know if
We're
you're
gonna
gonna
be
tell
here
me.
for a long time.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I'm stubborn too. It's
We're
fun.
just like walking in circles.
I was doing that to Taylor today. I'm like, I know you're trying to get my damn legs, boy.
Yeah, we have fun, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think
it's
it's like
fun
people,
of it.
you watch, people play basketball.
Yep.
You know, how much more fun is it to like play basketball with your friends out like at the park?
Yep.
Versus like
I-
when you're in like high school. I don't really know. I never played basketball. I'm imagining like
Yep.
when it's like professional,
Yeah.
as in like you're the referees yelling at you.
Yep.
You can't be like, oh, like suck it.
Well, see, that's
but
kinda-
when we were kids, like that's how like it's so much more fun to like.
And
when
honestly,
we
there's
played football. It was like
yeah,
that.
there's some people who do. I mean, I still do in jiu-jitsu. I still I talk to the people the whole
Yeah, it's
time.
fun.
Yeah,
It's like-
I'm always messing with
I'm
people.
smiling,
You know,
giggling,
yeah,
and it's always in a good spirit. It's not,
yeah. I'm not being
but-
a piece of garbage. So
When you guys do it sometimes, it's like
You
man.
get insulted.
I'm like, no,
But
I don't
I-
get
I've heard it. When I'm rolling
He's
with
yelled at
you.
me before for
Yeah.
talking to other people.
I'm like, dude,
He's
I
like,
was-
no, you're rolling with me. Respect me. Yeah, you know.
And you know what? You guys need to stop doing it with when Jay, because Jay did it to me today.
Jay
He's
did
like-
it?
He's like, I'm
And
like,
he was talking to people?
no, because I was talking smack with him, and messing with him, you know, and like I'm stretching him out, and he's like, he can
Sneaky
stretch.
Jay? Are we talking
yes,
Sneaky Jay?
Yeah, Sneaky
Okay.
Jay. And he can stretch out, right?
Yeah,
He
he's
can
flexible.
And I'm like, no yoga today. You know, he's like, ha ha ha, okay, no yoga. And he starts doing this stuff, but he's been really good at like, I call him riding a wave. I just feel him on top of me. I can't get him fucking off.
Yeah,
of
he's
me,
got
man.
good balance.
Yeah,
He's
got good
he's really
balance.
you know,
Fucking heavy.
Yeah.
shout out to our boy Jay.
Yeah, no,
He's
yeah,
definitely
Jay's
gotten
awesome.
good.
Jay
Yeah.
got
He's
really
legit.
tough. Yeah.
So he's doing that shit today on top of me, and I'm like, you know, blah blah blah. I'm just talking shit to him, and then on part of it, like, no yoga again today, you know, and he fucking he's on top of me. He's like, warrior pose. I'm like, stop with the warrior pose.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
So it reminded me of you guys when you guys like, hey, blah blah blah. You're just doing this.
I remember really well, and like it's like literally not in my mind. It wasn't on purpose, but like I had something important to say to Kyle while we're rolling. You know, I was like, "Hey, Kyle, can you're like, you focus on me. Like, don't act like this is not hard."
But I wasn't mad. I was just
No,
messing
it's
with you because I think I heard you guys talking on the podcast about it. I'm like, oh, you ain't doing that shit to me. Focus on me. But no,
it's
the
a
thing
power
is,
move.
Like
Yeah.
I said, it is, and like I said, when I was,
I wish I was using the power. It's so just my ADD.
You're
I just
yeah.
can't. You're like,
Kyle,
what?
Kyle can't focus on one
Yeah,
thing
I'm
for
sorry.
more than 5 minutes.
Yep.
and like I said today, like I know when we're rolling, like especially with you guys or with a brown belt or any, you know, like Niam or you know, he's a
Yeah, Nam's gonna be a brown belt.
Yeah,
too.
Nam's gonna be a brown belt too.
So with guys
Shout out
like
to
that,
Nam.
Shout out Nam Hugh.
you know, you guys are like just setting stuff up, you know, or in like. And like when you're like, like this motherfucker, he wants me to react, you know. He wants me to like, what is he trying to get me to do? That's what I'm trying to figure it out, you know. Like,
But you know, just some little, you know, food for thought and some advice about like the rolling. Let your body knows more than you think, and your mind sometimes gets in the way.
yeah, it does. I
You know what I
probably
mean?
overthink it. Yeah,
Your mind gets in the way. So the fact that I can go have a conversation while doing it, it's just evidence that your body, like, and of course your body is different than my body. You know,
Yep.
what we know obviously is different, but you'd be surprised at how much your body can just feel what it should do versus you going, why is he doing? What are we like? All that is just white noise in the way.
I think I see that more when I'm in offense than when
Okay.
I'm
Get into your
defense.
rhythm, right?
Yeah, when I'm like, okay, I gotta do this. Like I was doing it today with the guy from the barracks. You know,
Yeah.
like I gotta get like that. My mindset as soon as I start is like I gotta stay on top of this dude. Usually, I try to play, you know, like butterfly guard, and I thinking about it and hearing you guys talk is like, well, I'm a small dude and I try to play butterfly guard with big ass dudes. Maybe I shouldn't do that.
Yes.
Maybe I shouldn't do
I'd rather
that.
play with my feet on their hips.
Exactly my problem.
Yeah.
Yep, I know exactly
Kyle
what you're saying. Yep.
So maybe I shouldn't do that.
I watch
so-
Joey roll big guys and be like, oh, that looks actually kind of fun. And then like I'm just like getting my head crushed and I'm like, like sneak
It's a
out.
different skill.
Yeah.
So I made a point of today when I was, you know, he's a big dude. I gotta stay away
So you
from that.
had a goal,
Yeah.
and then you maybe hopefully just kind of let your body, because of the goal. So you have an orientation, your direction, like
I
your
was
map.
able to flow around.
But then let yourself just do it versus being like,
Yeah.
my left hand has to do my right hand. Like
Yep.
that's way
That's
too much.
So that's what it felt
That's-
like. I was able to flow around.
And this is like
not
the
think about
concept.
it, yeah.
This is like a samurai concept of like mushin.
Yeah,
You know, the no mind. Like really good martial artists, all good martial artists, they don't overthink. You know, practice. Like if you're really learning something new, of course you're like you're thinking about the steps, the ideas, all that. But then once you're in the flow,
Yeah.
you really need to get out of your way.
Yeah.
So that's my advice to anyone who feels like their brain is going so fast.
Just
when
ride
it
the
rolls.
wave.
You know, like I got to roll today. Was a fun day for me because, you know, there's some people here for the Thanksgiving that usually don't roll open mats, like families, right? We had Vin, who's got his little boys,
Yeah, that's awesome. That was
and
good.
Stefan, who's
Stefan.
got this whole family. So I got to roll both of them, and like, you know, it's exactly that. I can literally hear without them talking. I can hear
Hear
their
'em
mind
thinking.
running.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like thinking,
And you can feel them. They have
Yeah.
this like, you know, this little bit of energy
which
to
is,
them.
you know, it's fun. Like just down the road, like that's the, if I had to set a general goal, the goal is not just to beat everyone. The goal is just to, you know, how well can you master your mind and like just, oh man, like I just did it. I didn't even have to think about it. I just did it. That's impressive.
Yeah.
You see, in the same way, when you came over to roll with me, I was not ready. I'm like, okay, let's
Yeah,
go.
snap in.
Yeah, and I was okay. So and then I was like, well, what am I gonna do here? Like, what? There's nothing I can do.
Get
This
out
dude's
of your
gonna
mind.
have
Yeah,
all the
get out of your
answers.
way.
This guy's gonna have all the answers.
And your game is good, man. You
I'm like-
have a game. You just got to go play it.
I find myself a lot into like half guard and butterfly.
That's where your
stuff.
brain's taking you
Yeah,
now?
I
Yeah.
find myself into that. You
Good.
know, I was doing it to Jay, lockdown, and then, you know, coming up with the arm underneath the leg and trying
Nice.
to turn him over. Yeah,
Kind of like that.
Classic.
I've
Deep
been-
end.
I've been getting into that, and I'm trying to figure out how to make that work with people my weight,
Yeah.
not with people. People were like bigger now. Now it clicked. Now when I heard you guys talk about it, and I,
Cool.
like, yeah, I shouldn't fucking let this big ass dude be on top
Stop
of me.
letting him
Yep.
grab your head.
Yep.
Yeah, start letting that.
The chest to chest scenarios is not fun when someone's 250 pounds.
like something I forget. Like once you start rolling, you forget everything. You know, you just kind of, like you say, you gotta kind of react and kind of remember
Let your
stuff.
body go.
Yeah, but what's his name? Chris Howder. You know, I like the way he talks and listens to. But he one of the things like he says is hips, hands, head. Like if you got control at least two of those. So that's very simple to me. So I'm like, okay, I can
it's
do
called
that.
That's principle.
Yeah,
principle.
principle.
Based,
Yeah.
right?
So like the same thing. Like you're like
Yeah, and if you can really
concepts,
understand
right?
concepts
Yeah.
more than a
Yeah.
bunch of techniques.
Yeah. So when I think
Chris
about
Howder's
it,
old school, one
Yeah.
of the original American black belts.
Yep.
so when I'm in trouble, like when people are smashing me, and like, what am I doing? Oh shit, I gotta control at least a hand or a head or his hips or something, and it kind of gets me out of trouble.
Now the question for you at the next level is to what end?
Yeah.
So like for what? What are you going to do with the hand?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with the head? What are you going to do with the hips? Right?
I gotta connect that.
That's
for
the next
sure.
level.
The
Like,
dog caught
I'm
the
just grabbing
car.
Heads.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. No, I definitely, and obviously coming to class helps a lot.
Yeah, you're doing great, man.
Like I remember, when I first started, and then all the guys from the white belt bash,
Yeah.
I came to the white belt bash, and they were the first one, and I brought Caesar.
Was it Pete that was pissed off at 40?
Oh yeah.
Probably.
I think-
Why? Because I was cheering for.
Because you're cheering for someone else.
Yeah.
Pete brought it up. I remember.
I thought they were.
It's like,
mad
look
at
how
me.
much he's cheering for.
I thought they were mad at me for before that, because like I think like a couple weeks.
Pete's very
before
sensitive.
that- a couple weeks before that, I caught Adrian on a Kimura.
Nice.
And he was really mad about that.
Young
He was like,
Adrian?
oh, I can't believe you caught me on a Kimura. He was really mad. And then I think I caught Pete on a Kimura
Nice.
too. And he didn't act mad, but he was like, you can tell that he was whatever. So I really thought they were mad.
The
So I really-
Kimura killer.
but I haven't done it since then. And this is what I'm trying to. I was trying to
funny.
say. Those dudes got really fucking good.
Yeah.
So good.
like.
And the question is
Ron
why? Yeah. How did Ron go from?
Because they've been coming. They've been coming to class.
Consistency
Yeah,
and
consistency,
and
yeah,
a,
for sure.
a level of like desire. Like they
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
wanted
Yeah,
to
for
understand
sure.
this.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think the push that they had with that white belt bash really
that
helped.
helped
and-
a
Different
lot.
tournaments too.
and
Them
they-
competing.
Adrian is
Yeah, Adrian's
Phenom.
a
He's a
beast,
different-
man.
he's a different level.
a completely different guy. I haven't rolled with him lately, but
He's an animal.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
an
he's a
animal.
beast.
I can just tell by the way he rolls with other people.
It was funny the other day. I think it was. I mean, it's been a little bit, but him and Ian was funny. They were rolling, getting some good rounds in, and like hard rounds. And I can see Ian Ian's obviously he's been training longer and he's got a good skill set, but you can see him struggling.
Yeah.
And like afterwards, this is gonna be a real problem. Like, Adrian's like real problem.
Yeah, Ian's a beast, man.
Yeah, Ian's a beast.
man.
He's like Adrian's physically so difficult to deal with. 'Cause
Yep.
He doesn't get tired. He just keeps going.
Yes.
He's a big specimen
So
too. Yep.
it's
Yeah,
like
he's-
you're relying on him making mistakes, and eventually he's going to make less mistakes.
Yep.
I really enjoy watching his rounds on the ADCC, man.
Oh my god! Oh, dude,
Killed
he's
it.
like my favorite to watch. So much fun.
Yeah, he's
His
amazing.
matches, all of them are just so
I'm gonna say
entertaining.
this here.
Intense and yeah.
Entertainment.
I'm gonna say
The
this here,
value's
Kyle.
there.
I'm gonna say this here.
Hit
I'll
it.
call you out a little bit
Yes.
because I really like watching like Taylor or Adrian because they I can see them. I can like, oh, he's going for this because I can see them doing while we're training.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard you say that, oh yeah, I gotta put that into training, the hand fighting, the wrestling.
Yep.
But you sit your ass down every single time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Kyle. My wife was mad at me in those fights, man. She was mad at me. I fucking slammed. She's like, Kyle, what are you doing? Dude? Hand fighting. I'm like, I sent Kenya. I can't send Kenya a message.
Yeah.
Somebody has to understand me. My wife. So I sent Kenya a message. Kenny actually thought that there was something wrong because I was like, bro. And I sent this big old bro. He's like, 40, are you okay? What's wrong?
Kyle, I gotta tell you something, just so you understand. Legitimately, your guard pulling might give him another heart attack.
I've done guard. I'll never guard pull
Your
again.
guard pull is so dangerous.
The reason they got me like that because I heard you say it here. They're like, oh, I'm really working on my wrestling. And I'm like, he is, because that's what we're doing. Hand fighting, and off balancing and blah, 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 underhooks. And then he gets on.
Whoa!
Come on,
right back to home base, baby.
He wants you to just be this like stud wrestler.
I wish I had it in
I
me.
want you to be, but I like. Why are we practicing, Kyle? Why are we doing it in comp? Why are we doing that in competition? Why do we start
What's
the
your
rounds like that
response
in
to that? What do you
competition?
think?
It makes my neck stronger. Yeah.
So, anyways, man, I was just.
No, I hear you.
I know that's your game.
Yep.
You know, and then that's kind of, that's his game, bro. Like, yeah, I get it, but we're practicing this. Why?
Well, I hope you can see though the growth that he's had. It's like even like Miami was a great example
Yep.
for
Yeah.
that first match.
Yep.
That's a match I think you would have lost a year before.
Yep.
Exactly a year before.
Yep.
And,
You
and
would've
he went
lost
for the
it.
back, right? Then
Yep.
he was
Just
the way
came
that
on top
the
into-
leg
yep.
stuff,
The way that
and then you use that to get into
Yep.
the back. It's like,
Yeah.
and now you should have seen that. Like, yes,
Yep.
Kyle.
Yep. And so that was like every
That
match
was-
that I had
yeah.
in Chicago was
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So.
So you know the evolution is
Yep.
there,
Yeah, for sure. So,
but
yeah.
we're not idiots.
Yep.
No.
It's like if Kyle just goes and the biggest risk is obviously you getting your back taken. Who cares you get taken down?
Yep.
I think you still should make people work hard to take you down.
Yeah.
That's my argument. But of course, it's like
Everybody
get
has
to
their
your game.
Everybody
Yep.
has their stuff.
But
yeah.
if you get to your game now, it's like it's like just
show
like,
the cards,
It's just
yeah.
like playing poker like this. You're
Yeah.
like, here's what I have to
Yeah.
offer.
Yeah, I was
just
like-
run for the next 3 minutes, and
After I like failed in the 2 false reap attempts on the guy, it's like I'm not gonna catch him a
That
third
was-
time.
yeah.
It's not gonna get better now.
those are
you
your
know.
moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now it's take his back.
Uh-huh,
Just be a
uh-huh.
better grappler.
Yes.
Than him. Don't
Yep.
try to catch him.
Yep.
Which I think you've evolved.
I like it.
I love it, dude. Hit me with one. What do you think about me?
No, dude.
Give me some shit.
No, man.
What do I need to work on?
You're fucking good, man.
I need to get
Killing it,
bigger.
Joe.
Yeah, you're
That'd be
killing
nice.
it, man.
Yeah.
You're but what I was saying, about that, like I can see Adrian working the system. He went for the, or even TJ.
Dude, I think I got a segment for
TJ.
40.
Okay.
Like what the fuck with 40?
What the fuck?
God, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Like TJ, man, I forgot where we went.
Oh yeah,
to.
do you remember? Did you
Barrington.
see him in Chicago when he tapped that old man,
Yeah,
the adult, when he won the
Took his
adult?
foot off.
The leg, right?
Yep.
It was awesome.
Yeah, but he's working the
His takedowns are great.
Yep.
the
Slam the heck out of that kid.
passing and everything. and all
TJ's
stuff.
well-rounded, very well-rounded
Yeah, he's
grappler,
a-
and
he's
he's
a
taking that well-rounded approach.
Smooth individual.
Yeah, no, he is.
Yeah.
He is for sure. And he's flexible, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Same thing with Taylor today. I was like, dude, can you stop being flexible, please? Because I would have taken your back or something, but you're just so twisted. At one point, me and him were like twisted both ways. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing?
Grabbing
White
my
belt
foot.
shit.
Yeah, I grabbed my own ankle.
But no, they're just flexible.
Yeah, well, we like to ask this question about jiu-jitsu, like, as someone who, is, you've competed, but you are in the older phase of your life in jiu-jitsu. Can you find, and especially because I love the end of the year, I love like goals and stuff. But like, do you have a well explained to yourself, and can you verbalize it, goal for jiu-jitsu? And it could be simple, it could be big, whatever you think.
As an old dude or like somebody that
Just in general,
that's
man. For
taking-
you, what do you think?
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, as a person that's learning, that's taking me more to recuperate. Like I don't know if you like. There was a little bit like competition and stuff. Like I was like, let me try. Like 4 days a week. But then, man, that weekend, man, I would fall asleep.
A little too much, yeah.
Yeah, and I would be tired as hell, and it'd take me like 2-3 days now. So my goal is just to show up. My goal is just to learn and show up, and just continue to try to be as consistent as I can. That's pretty much my goal.
I love it.
Because if I come, I'm gonna learn. If I come more, I'm gonna learn more. Just like you said, why did those guys get better? Because they were coming to class.
They were very
Yeah.
consistent,
And
and
they
they
were
were pushing
consistent.
each other.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
that weird drive of like,
They're all even now.
they're all looking at each other, seeing one person get a little better, and they're
Yep.
driving up,
Following each other up, yeah.
And they keep themselves honest,
Yeah.
in the good way, So yeah. So for me, my goal is just coming in, trying not to get hurt,
Nice.
and yeah, that's pretty much my goal, man.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great goal. I think it's simplistic in its goal. It's like if I just show up, I know I'm going to get better. So instead
Consistently show up.
of saying the goal is like I need to get better, what does that mean? Like that's a tough goal to just say.
Yeah.
But here's an actual, like, you're giving yourself a goal, and you're also giving yourself the plan.
Well, yeah, again, it's a we were talking about this with Cambio. It's an actual tangible thing that you have control of, coming to class every day.
Yeah.
Versus just saying I'm gonna win every single.
I'm gonna win every tournament I do. Well, I mean,
Good luck.
Good luck. I don't know if you can control that though. Yeah.
No, that's pretty much it, man. Just showing up. I don't even care. I'm not to say the belt. It's the belt. Whether it's change color, where it doesn't change color, eventually it's gonna change. Or if it doesn't change,
you will
what
be
I'm doing here.
I promise you will be a black belt.
Yeah.
If you stick around, you will be a black belt.
Exactly,
I just that's just how it works.
Yeah, you just keep coming.
Yeah.
Just keep.
That's
You'll
how
be a
it
black
works.
belt. You'll be 50
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah,
We'll change your nickname to 50.
Yep. That'll be moving on.
Yeah, no, however long it takes. I think I'm gonna keep coming, even if it just comes to listen to classes or something. For sure, man.
80-year-old 40 in the
I
corner.
love it, man.
Yeah, I'm just hopefully it bites with my kids, man. Hopefully they can see that. I really wish that they would do it. To be honest,
Like you said, it's the mat will still be there. So when they I really like with Caesar, I really believe he's gonna find his way towards it.
Yeah.
Hopefully
He's got the personality for it. He's smart. He's really smart. He's too smart.
He'll do a few other sports and not like them too much, and then come back here and be
He'll
like,
be
"Well,
like,
everyone was really nice to me here, and like it was cool." And
This is fun. Like this is way more fun.
they eat pizza after that.
You know how we started doing the adult classes?
Yeah,
I don't think he really liked that
it was too much.
with me and him.
Yeah.
Putting together.
maybe that's part of it,
Because I'm a
too.
stickler, I could be like, dude,
Drilling
come on,
with
let's do
dad
this.
is different than
Yeah.
going to class. When
Yeah.
he can drive himself, it's just everything changes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So he's right in that funny age where
Yeah.
he's got to explore.
He wants
find
to be
he's gotta-
independent, but he can't be yet.
You're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to find yourself too.
He's finding himself, yeah.
Yeah,
And he's
it's
finding
good.
he's finding, he's the smallest one, so he's rebelling against his brothers, he can figure he figured out that wait, they only use me to go get stuff, or they only use me to go ask mom and dad stuff.
figured it out.
And so now he's going like, "Hey, you want to go ask mom? You can give me $5." And then
Yeah, so it actually started like maybe a year and a half ago, So which started a lot more arguing between each other, because now the middle one, which my middle one is, his name is Diego. He's a smart ass, and he was the one that would do more of that. Hey, why don't you go do this?
Yeah, manipulative.
Smart. Yeah. And now it's Diego. Diego is like more. I mean, Caesar is more like, wait,
I know what you're doing.
Yeah, what you're doing. So
I'm
now
reading this.
Yeah, so that started.
Well, that's a good trait for jiu-jitsu. Identifying what people are doing.
So
and bring the other one in too, like his sneaky person is good for
man.
jiu-jitsu
Oh,
too.
yeah.
If I
That's
brought
the Kyles
Diego,
of the world.
Yep.
Diego's if I brought Diego in, he's
a soccer player,
he's
right?
athletic,
Really,
man.
yeah, he's a good athlete.
Yeah, he's athletic, man.
Yeah.
He's too smart for his own good. But he's testing stuff, He's testing me. He's testing the teachers. He's testing everything, man.
Yep.
And I'm just
Gotta see where the borders. Gotta see where the borders are. You gotta see the boundaries.
And I'm okay with that, man. It's just my thing is like, okay, test the borders, dude. But then you keep on testing, you keep getting the same results, man. Like,
Figure it out.
like, and you can see what other people are telling you that's important, and you keep them trying to make other things important. Like, there's a reason,
Yeah.
But eventually, it's he is changing, he is clicking, and it's part of his growth, And as a dad, I was way different with my older one, because it's hard to see your kids fail. You just don't want to fail, see them go through failures and stuff, But one thing that jiu-jitsu has taught me is that you have to fail to learn. You have to make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, you don't learn. The change is going to happen. Blah blah, all that stuff. So then now I'm like,
you can see how you can take that approach into a child's development.
kind of, and kind of like,
Especially
okay,
with
let them fall on
school.
their face.
Yeah.
It's okay. But I just have to. It's hard to apply. At least for me, it's hard to apply consequences.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's more blah blah blah. Just because I had a lot of different way when I grew up, and I knew consequences were not going to be good, so I just did what I needed to do so people wouldn't talk shit to me, and so maybe that's what I would have needed to do with my kids, but not that way, or something.
Yeah.
And my older kid probably had the worst part of it. I was still trying to figure out I'm still trying to figure out how to
Right.
do that
Right.
and all that
But
stuff.
you've evolved how you parent.
And like I said, I'm very hard with myself. So for a lot of years, like, oh, what am I doing and stuff like that, and
Well, all you can do is you obviously you can you can forgive yourself and you can ask for forgiveness if there's, if that's necessary with the kid or with, a relationship. And then you can make it better, now. Yeah. So, that's like just the reality of it. And I know that from my perspective of my relationships with my, my parents, that's the only side of it. I don't have kids. Yeah. Me and Kyle don't have kids. We don't have that, that experience to draw from. But it does work in that opposite direction. And I feel that.
Everyone does have relationships.
I know some parents, it's tough for them to do what I'm saying. It's tough for them to forgive themselves or to forgive or to ask for, like, hey, I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah, it's hard to asking for forgiveness is like accepting responsibility for what you did wrong, and a lot of people will not accept responsibility for what they did,
or even know they did it. Yeah, they don't even want to accept it.
I think most people know accepting it is
There's ways to suppress things. Usually it includes alcohol.
I was gonna say something helps.
But
I think what it is, like a lot of people, with military background and my the way I am, people expected me to be like very disciplined with my kid and stuff like that, and maybe when I was younger, I did try to, but I'm not.
But you feel like it didn't give you the results that you thought it would?
No, it didn't, for sure. Yeah.
So that's a lesson learned.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like I'm not, I don't, I'll be honest, my kids don't have chores at home, they one thing that I tell them, like, dude, we're waiting for you guys to be old enough to be like, hey, I understand that you need to do chores, but you're not understanding that. You're not, it's not clicking.
Are we a team? Are we help?
Yeah, you're not clicking. And I think that's part of what's, we had the team part, and it's trying to build that. It's especially when it's three different people with three different minds,
three different personalities.
Yeah, and you can't. It's hard. Like a lot of that stuff, like you said, like pushing boundaries and stuff is like you can't break, and it's hard when it's your kid. It's really like me and Kenny were talking about it with Dom. He's saying Dom's starting to figure out that if he doesn't want to do something, he can just be upset and he won't have to do it. But then Kenny was saying, he said he would do that for going on the school bus, and he's like it was a real problem. And then I was like, but does he ride the school bus now? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, well, how did he do it? He's like, well, his mom just made him do it every day. And it's like, yeah, if you just put him, they're gonna realize eventually, like, oh, this doesn't work. But what level do you traumatize your kid to? And obviously getting on the school bus is not a big
and
deal.
Not even traumatize your kid, but even traumatize yourself. Like, are you willing to just sit there with
and let him cry over
the Dom? But it's like, oh man, like, I just gotta let this one go. Okay, Dom, fine.
I mean, you can see with me, I'm such a pushover with the kids. I mean, if a kid cried in front of me and me, I'm like, what candy do you need? Sorry,
whatever it takes, make it feel better.
Please stop.
Yeah, it's tough. I can look at a kid, maybe call me a little heartless, but I could be like, sorry, man, I don't feel bad for you right now because I told you what you needed to do. And when I yelled at you and you got upset, I'm not going to feel bad that you feel bad. I'm glad that you have a compass or something. You know what I mean?
Those things change,
but that's not my kid. I'm well aware. I can look at that kid and be like, I'm happy that you're upset about this because this is the desired, this is what we wanted from you. But if it's my kid, I'm sure I'll be like, I feel, look at my, it's okay.
Give me a hug.
Yeah. Because I feel that way with my cats.
I'm sorry you punched me too.
When I upset my cat, I feel terrible.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, come here, baby.
I think I don't have a happy medium on a lot of things, man. I'm either like black or white. You know what I mean? And with that part, like I didn't have, like, it was just true. I didn't have like a caring, I didn't have a dad, first of all. And my mom had to be a mom and a dad. She didn't have time to be like, very nice about stuff sometimes, So I try to hug my kids as much as I can. I try to tell them I love them as much as I can, because I didn't have that. And because I tried to do that, I try not to be mean, I try not to. I really do. I am probably once I get really pissed off and I start fucking this, fucking that.
That's like repressing that.
Yeah. So it hasn't happened that as much. It happened more, as younger, and obviously I've learned. And like, once again, you got to do something different. If it's not working, you change something, right? So I'm trying to do that, and I can see it working a little better with the kids, stuff like that, So yeah, man. So with that, it's hard. When they're like doing something and you want to be stern and you may say it, but then like a day goes by and you kind of like, he's my boy, whatever, like blah blah blah. And you may not say
And
it,
you want to
whatever.
give him what you didn't have, and
Yeah.
I
That's a big
understand that
thing.
so much. That's so interesting.
That is a big thing, man. Like
Yeah.
you want to give him what you don't want.
But
what you
there's
didn't
that
have,
like
for sure.
interesting nuance between that, where there is like a tough love, and there is a
Yeah.
there's a line there that
Well, yeah, you know, like certain
That
things.
is
It's just
love.
like they have to learn. There's certain things they're going to have to do, and their emotional. I don't know if the word is well-being is less important than them doing this thing that they need to do right
It will
now.
long term be their emotional
Yes.
well being when
Yes.
they can function well in society because they,
Yes, so-
whatever that might be.
So that's what the short-term gain of
Yeah.
their emotional well-being now, of them being happy playing on their phones
Right.
or eating sweets and stuff like that. It's like that's going to have a huge sunk cost, in the future.
Yeah, so that's the nuance, and it's like it's not as black and white as like, am I being sweet or am I being mean?
Yep. What
Sometimes a little bit like in between these two is there's so much like
Yes.
gray.
and the way you set it up, I mean, Kristen today said about, her daughter, she said she was watching, whatever on the phone. And she said it was like, to her, it was the most amazing thing in the world because she doesn't get to play with the phone. Well, someone else's kid, if they don't have the phone in their hand, they're going to literally throw a
crying.
tantrum.
Yeah.
So the difference in that is like, some people would say you're being mean by taking the phone. She's never had the phone. She doesn't even know that the phone is quote unquote taken away from her, So there's ways
Yeah,
to
some
appropriate things as
Interesting.
well.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to it. Obviously, this is not a podcast about us.
I mean, you should
being-
probably just hit them.
That's why I was going to go back to the jokes of it.
But so you gotta find what they really into,
Yep.
And then kind of like
Fostering,
I'm not gonna lie, man.
and
Like
nurturing what they
being
like.
a leader in the Marine Corps it felt like babysitting motherfuckers,
Okay.
It did, it like
So you were like a dad already then.
it's just not really, but it's like you babysitting dudes, you know, because you're in charge of me. Like what they do is blah 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 reflections and all that other bullshit, and it's like. And a lot of people, I don't know why you join the service when they're not ready for that life, and they fight it.
Yeah.
They fight it, and a lot of people, all that stuff. So I don't really want to fucking babysit people, and now with my kids, it's like you guys are grown, man. Like I really don't want to like babysit and stuff, and you guys are getting to learn.
Yes, what you're describing to me is like I would have this every once in a while with I don't have it as much here yet because I just haven't been with these kids as long. But like some of the other kids at the last gym, I had been with them so long and I knew them a little better. And some would be older when they would be doing something bad or be goofing off. Like I would come over to them and more than being mad, I would just like come over and be like, Are you serious? You're disappointing me
we were
right now.
cool.
Yeah, I thought
we were friends.
You're hurting my soul
Yeah,
right
no,
now.
I feel that all the time.
I thought you were cool. Yeah.
Well, 40, we're really grateful that you took the time to
Yeah.
sit and talk to us with our 40th episode.
Yeah.
40. I think a lot of people really appreciate knowing more about you and about your story. And
For sure.
you're always welcome anytime you want to jump on the show.
Thank
we
you.
could do it again.
No, thank you, man.
Maybe 140. We'll
Yeah,
do that.
140, 240.
One more 100.
40. We'll do 40, 44, 54.
44.
No, thank you guys for inviting me, man. I
No
appreciate
problem.
it, man.
Any final thoughts, problems, ideas? What do you think?
No, man. I just like to. I like to say this, man. Because Thanksgiving, right? I'm really thankful for the gym. I'm thankful for the way you guys make me feel here. Feel at home. And today, you're mentioned. You said, I haven't been here for a bit, and you're like, well, you're home.
Yeah.
And that hit me. So I appreciate that.
Cheers, buddy. We're thankful for you.
Thankful, buddy.
Much love, my friend.
Awesome. Everybody. I
Happy
hope you
Thanksgiving,
hope you have a
guys.
good Thanksgiving. Find something to be thankful for. We're all thankful to have everybody as a student. We'll be keeping up the podcast pretty consistently, and everybody keep it rolling.